How's everyone doing? Happy Tuesday. Final week of February. And I'm hoping the warm weather kicks in sometime soon in March. It's already a little bit warm out there. But I'm hoping it gets I'm ready for scalding hot summer, man. I was out there shoveling. And I am a little cooked. A little cooked. Was out there for like 2 hours. A lot of work. But what's going on, everybody? How's it hanging? Orba gang? Orba gang? You're saying Fallout 4 on Switch 2 is fire? I got my Switch 2 here. I got the game installed. So we're going to check that out after stream. That might be a Matty Slop video. Just checking it out and then delivering some quick impressions on it. Just seeing kind of where it all stands. Because I saw, to my surprise, Fallout 4 on Switch 2 launched at 60 FPS. And it had a 40 FPS option too. So I don't know why Fallout 4 got really tightened up on Switch 2. But then Skyrim didn't. But look, man, like I said in our Matty Slop video, Xbox or Bethesda has a quality issue, and I'm glad that there's something being tightened up there. But what's going on, everybody? Josh, good to see you. Uncharted Wolf, good to see you. Cameron Hill, happy to see you, my friend. What's going on, everybody? Christian, like the religion, love that name. Remember you from Last Stand. Your write-ins are great. Canadian Gamer Boy, cool name as well. Good to see you. You've got Shoveler's Face, bruh. Is that what it's called? Is that a thing? I've never heard of that. Hold on, wait, let me bring up my camera. Do I just look like, man, he's been out there working hard. I was sweating. Like, I had my beanie on. I had sunglasses on because, you know, the snow it's sunny out there, and the snow is, like, reflecting so brightly the sun that, like, you'll just walk inside and start seeing green. So, yeah, dude, like, that shoveling session was tough because, like, we're almost out of oil. We fucked up on like our oil for our house and forgot to refill it. We forgot to check the vial. And so we got snowed in with like 18 inches. So I had to go on top of all the snow we already have, shovel a pathway so the oil people can come and give our house some warmth. Homeowning, man. Homeowning. Let me tell you what, there's always something that needs to be done. It's always something. But good to see you all here. Good to see all of you here. The 30 inches for you, Filibuster. Man, yeah, like I don't know how, I'm 6'1", and this shit was like, when I started shoveling a pathway through our lawn, like this shit was up to almost my hip. I could not believe that. I was like, this is the most snow I've ever seen in my entire life. I'm jealous of y'all who are down south. Let me tell you what. Yeah, Tyler's right. Good exercise, though. It's good free exercise. That was the one benefit of this is like, okay, so for those who are curious how this whole thing works for streaming and then the Matty Slop stuff, basically I prepare Matty Slop on the treadmill. I go on my treadmill in our garage and I just take out my iPad and I grab the news and I grab all the links and I write it while I'm on there for, an hour or so. And today, because the stream was already prepared yesterday, I'm like, well, this is my exercise for today. I just shoveled a ton of snow. So we're doing good. We're doing good. 512. Martin. That was good. Yeah, so anyway, we got a fun lineup here today. Of course, Xbox dominating the news cycle. I've been a little bit of a social media addict. Not going to lie. Xbox kind of flipped that switch in my brain. I just keep hopping on Twitter, seeing what's going on, kind of looking for the newest updates. It feels like we're on the cutting edge of like new comments, new statements, that sort of thing. So today's stream, we got 2 topics dedicated to Xbox. We're going to be taking a look at Asha Sharma and just who she is, what she said recently, and sort of feeling that out and more so paying attention to the actions she is taking, not the words she is saying. However, on that note, I also want to pay attention to the words she's saying and the promises that are being made and sort of the comments that are being made and picking that apart and what exactly that could be. What can she do to succeed? What she can do to fail? And certainly that pathway is much easier. We're going to talk about Kingdom Come Deliverance as well, because there was some significant news in that world. I have a prototype story here as well. Shout out to all my prototype heads out there. I got you covered on this one. And if we got some extra time, I got a BioShock story. So we got a nice rollout of like 5 stories here. So I'm pretty excited for today's show and appreciate all of you being here, the early birds, and hanging out. No doubt, again, Xbox news is everywhere. I don't expect this to be like a really big stream. So for those of you who are showing up, appreciate you just being part of the community and chilling for a little bit. Also, before anyone asks, No juice. No juice. It's frozen in the freezer. I forgot to take some out. So that is currently defrosting, but that means Friday stream, we should have some juice. But unfortunately, nothing to show for today's stream. Yep, there we go. Nurse Mayo called that out immediately. Immediately, I picked up the water and went, no juice. You sniped it right away. Bonus story, Wolverine date. Yeah, Wolverine's an interesting one. I don't know if I want, like, how much I can say about it that hasn't already been said, because I talked extensively about Wolverine in the state of play it was shown off in. Now we have the release date. And so it's good to see, like, I mean, PlayStation's kind of setting up for a monster year. That's actually, see, this is why one comment goes a long way. Let me write that down for, like, a future topic. I kind of want to talk about PlayStation's 2026. I think they have a really interesting lineup. Because I was looking at, who was it? I think it was Radic. Radic posted on Twitter the year that PlayStation's about to have. Yeah, like, check this out, right? Check this out. Sorry, I know Xbox fans aren't going to like this because I'm glazing PlayStation here real quick. And certainly PlayStation's had a year too. Shout out to Radic. Awesome dude. But yeah, you'll see here that Marathon soon. Marathon's looking pretty sharp. Saros, which I'm not going to play, but I know people love Returnal. Marvel Tokon Fighting Souls. Wolverine a month later. By the way, the back-to-back Marvel months here of just heavy hitters is awesome. And then on top of that, you got a new Spider-Man movie this summer. That's cool. And then also Kena, Scars of Cosmora. This is my most anticipated of everything PlayStation's doing. There's also Phantom Blade Zero that PlayStation is doing. So, like, they have a really stacked year here. So, yeah, man, like, I'm excited for what they're putting out here. We got some super chats here. Let me catch up with the stream here. Tile Kiera, thank you for your $10 super, or $20. Holy crap. Thank you, dude. I've been a long-time subscriber. Love the new content. It's become a tradition on my hour-long commute home from work. Keep up the good work. Thank you. Thank you for letting me be part of your daily business, dude. And thanks for working so hard for this planet. Whatever you do, I'm sure. I don't know. I'm just trying to glaze you back, bro. Just thank you. Thank you. I'm terrible at accepting compliments, if anyone couldn't tell. Hello again, Matthew. Good to see you, Francisco. He says, favorite part of game development. Okay, so two things. One, I'm going to sound like Phil Spencer on. The other, I'm like, it is easily my favorite part. Okay, so one thing that was really tough for our team to wrap their brains around is, and what I learned, especially as of late, is like getting a project to a scope and a scale where the team can understand what they're making. They see the light at the end of the tunnel. They don't just know the ambition of it. And when you have that moment of you see everyone's brain starting to understand what this is, what things are going to look like in this world, it is like a really, really awesome feeling. That is, to me, my favorite feeling. We just had a great team meeting yesterday. Everyone showed a lot of great progress across like tools and art. And I messaged our art director and I said, like, hey, dude, like, you know, I know there's always going to be something we can make a little bit better, but like, we should feel really optimistic. Like, it feels like everyone's brains have kind of understood the task and what's going on here. And so I'd say that's number one for game development, is just watching, like, because it started, you know, it's not all about me, by the way. There's no I in all of this, but it did start with like this universe I had envisioned, and watching people get it and then participate with their own ideas, their own contributions, that 1,000% is like the most validating thing. In the terms of working, stories, understanding story logic, understanding it's kind of like it can sometimes be like the dressing that you put on top. At times it can very much define your gameplay, like just understanding story from all these different angles. That has been really, really validating as well. So there's a lot, dude. It's fun to learn new skills. It's also really tough. Learning I had a slight artistic skill in lighting, just very slight, was cool. I never thought I had an artistic bone in my body, so that was cool. So just learning more about yourself in the creative process, like it's kind of a, you know, very basic answer, but it's true, man. It's a really good feeling. You can't start without the dog. Come on, man. The dog's upstairs in my wife's office. She's working right now. He's taking a nap because he was just outside. So unfortunately, no Rufus this stream. His bed is empty right now, but he's upstairs with his brother Forrest. And they're hanging out. They're doing fine. Most valuable life lesson learned from a game. Let's go Mets. Hey, there we go. Fellow Mets fan. Okay, so I'm going to go with, I'm not going to say what game because I don't want to, maybe I should because it would maybe put you guys on it. Yeah, I should. Persona 5 Royal, and the way it delivers the message of sometimes doing the right thing isn't always the most accepted or easy thing. And that there is adversity in doing good stuff. You know, there's no like true compassion sometimes does not have all the roses and sunshine and rainbows that you dream it to have, or the reaction you expect. Sometimes true compassion is just like continuously overcoming that adversity. So, and helping someone see the light or something like that. So, and just not wavering from that. It's very much a JRPG shtick, but they just tell it in such a intelligent way. That would be my personal favorite. Dave Wonder, good to see you, my friend. He says, I'm back for another live stream. Loving this format, my friend. Have been binge watching your channel. Keep up the great work. Looking forward to the prototype story you have today. Thank you. Yeah, I'm excited for that too. Like, I pick my favorites and I try not to like prioritize them too much on my favorites because I know my audience well enough. Like, if I put prototype as a headline, I imagine until it's a real announced thing, y'all won't care. So I try to like lead with the things that you'll be most interested in, but no doubt the prototype story is what I'm most excited about. I agree on Uncharted Wolf. The world needs Persona 6. The world needed metaphor. That should happen during an election period. The world needed metaphor. We're going to chat for a couple more minutes, guys, and then we'll get started on the show. Appreciate you all being here. Will you, Pooter says, will you ever fix the TMNT art behind you? Yes. Yes, I will. It's one of those things, man, where I was talking to my wife about it, and I want to redecorate this room. So part of me is like, do I bother? Like, it's not one of those things where you tilt it, because basically what happened was, as you can tell, I rushed it. And so when I was putting the nails in the wall, I didn't like bother with a level. I didn't like try to measure it. I didn't ask for any help. So I just like brute forced it because I was impatient, and I paid the price. It looks like shit. So now I got to like undo the nails, remeasure them. So it's not just as simple as like retilting them like people think it is. Because these pictures don't have hangers. They're just like, there's just 4 pieces of wood and then like the art's on top of it. So I can't just tilt it unless it's like center with the nail. So I got to figure that one out a little bit. Maybe I could just put, I should also just look for like something I can stick onto the wall that maybe can support it and tilt it right. What I've also noticed is this camera and the way it is, like it's flat on the ground, but for some reason this camera just makes my room look tilted. So I think even if I straighten those out, it's still going to look crooked. So I'm a little bit stuck here. I wouldn't be surprised with the new Xbox team. You're going to see massive shakeup the Game Pass because it's been shown as a loss leader and was a Phil thing. Yeah, we'll get into that. That's actually one of the topics I wanted to get into when we were diving into Asha Sharma and sort of what she can do as the new head of Xbox. I don't know if Game Pass really survives this new regime because they wanted 100 million subscribers by 2030, and they're at like 34 million, and they probably lost some with the price jump. So that showed to me that they're just kind of accepting it, collecting maximum dollar, probably readjusted their goals. And just like if games with gold outlived its usefulness where no one was using that for a while and they finally sunset it like into the series generation, I'm sure it'll take a while for Game Pass to go. Like, it'll be a very gradual thing if it does happen. Get some double-sided mounting tape. It's so nice. I use it for plaques on my wall. I'll try that. Yeah, that's a good idea. The Michelangelo one, that's kind of offensive. Let me see if I can do something about that now. Hang on. I didn't realize it was that bad. Holy shit. Hang on. Hold on. Oh, okay. This actually looks pretty good. Not bad. That kind of looks good. I mean, see, but it's straight for me right now, but it looks crooked because of the camera. I'm not even joking right now. Hold on. All right, it looks a little better. It looks a little better. I swear on my life, it's straight right now. I swear. You guys don't have to clown on me, man. You don't have to clown on me and say it's pretty bad. My goal was also to offset them. Yeah, dude, it's the camera too. Like, it's not helping me out. I think I just need to abandon the mission on that. I think I just need to, like, straight up just, no, like, they can't be there. Because, like, even the transistor wall scroll looks a little tilted, but it's not. So is it the lens? Looks a little bit better, though. It doesn't look as like this guy doesn't give a fuck. PC prices won't return to pre-AI prices. The new Xbox will be more affordable than any PC that gives similar performance. I'm buying it. Whoa! This guy's in. I love that. Good, man. If you're committed to the ecosystem, like, Xbox needs you. All right. What do we got here? 15 minutes in? I think it's time for our first story. Shall we, ladies and gentlemen? Let me bring up my notes here. What do we got? I wanted to talk about Xbox's big promises that they're making because, oh man, some are promises, some are comments that are turning into promises by the court of public opinion. I mean, and so we'll get into that as well. But basically, this first story, like I said, is what the title says. Like, Xbox is making some big promises, and so we're going to talk about exclusivity. We're going to talk about the commitment to console. We're going to talk about business model changes, the things that Asha Sharma can greenlight to get easy wins, the worst things she can do, and we'll kind of wrap up there with some recent comments from Seamus Blackley. Is it Blackley or Blackie? I think it's Blackley. Blackley, yes. We're gonna round out with that to sort of shape the expectations some of the industry are already having. Okay. Francisco, I don't think the new Xbox will have a disc drive now. I think it'll be digital only. Especially if PlayStation is already considering an attachable disc drive for the PS6, then, I mean, at least in my opinion, like, I think that's the best you're going to get. And PlayStation benefits more on, like, physical sales than Xbox does, that's for sure. Game Pass kind of put the kibosh on a lot of physical game sales. Out of every, like, modern game collection I have, like, I do have I'm looking at my modern Xbox collection now. I was actually thinking about it the other day, and I was like, I should just, like, sell these and just see if I can rebuy them for PlayStation, because it's like, these aren't going to be long for this world. Like, and it's also, like, a weird collection. And there are games, like, I have, like Starfield, that aren't even on the disc. It's just, like, it's just this thing here. Like, it comes with this thing. So, it's cool. Don't get me wrong, but there's no disc, so there's no attachment to the exclusives either. So, I don't know. I'll think about it. The only one that has some value in my brain is I remember just, like, begging for this and being like, oh my God, it's real. As you can see, it's sealed still, but, like, holy crap. Persona on Xbox. Otherwise, though, it's just a bunch of random games in my Xbox One collection. I have Assassin's Creed, Final Fantasy, Crisis Core is there. Anyway. Adorably all digital, you mean? Yeah, sorry, you're right. That's I forgot that's what they were calling it internally. Oh boy. All right, let's chat some Xbox, guys. We've been here for almost 20 minutes, so we can y'all can kick your feet up, enjoy the show. We'll kind of go back and forth as we go through these stories. All right. Whoa, frog in the throat. All right. Here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, let's talk a little bit about Xbox and some of the comments that are being made by new CEO of Microsoft Gaming, Asha Sharma. She is in the office this week. So officially the Phil Spencer regime is over. It is now the beginning of the reign of Asha Sharma. And if you've been paying attention to Twitter, which I talked about this earlier, but, like, I've become a social media addict in this little window of time because I'm always checking Twitter to see, like, what's the new comment? What's the new story? I feel like we're on the cutting edge of something happening constantly. Well, here we are looking at Asha Sharma's Twitter account because that's where I feel like every Xbox conversation starts, because we have another situation where an Xbox CEO is getting close with the fan base here. And it feels like some of the lessons that Phil learned are not really being passed on to Asha. It's like, hey, sink or swim. You want to make promises on Twitter. You want to connect with the community. Have right at it. So to me, the biggest lesson she could have learned from Phil right away was, like, keep your mouth shut. By that, I mean, just, like, deliver. Say your little speech, but then start taking action. And that's what we're really going to look at here today, is the actions that are planned and the actions that have been taken. So let's start off with this look at a little tweet that has made the rounds here. No doubt you've already seen this one. Alejandro was saying that I hope you understand the importance of Xbox exclusives. And we see here this stamp that your boy brings up all the time. How many times do you see me reach over off camera and go like this? Whoop, remember this? This stamp right here? Yeah, like I miss the only on Xbox stamp. To me, that was a statement of you were about to get something unique. Same thing with only on Xbox 360. That stamp meant so much to me because it would give me the weirdest games, the coolest games. So I do miss those days, to be clear. Now, Asha Sharma responded to this and said, hear you. That's the most we've heard on Xbox exclusivity in years that went in some type of positive direction. Now, because of this statement, a lot of people believe that Xbox exclusives might be on the table again, because to bring Xbox back, in a sense, a lot of people think they should kind of go back to the way PlayStation's doing their business. Like, hey, embrace PC in your own little ecosystem, but you don't got to go directly to your competitor. Maybe you can embrace timed exclusivity. I get the rationale. I just feel like you can't put that genie back in the bottle. Also, a lot of what Asha Sharma is saying is in direct opposition to her boss. This is something that we saw quietly happening between Phil and Sarah and Satya and Amy Hood, where they were kind of civil warring, and you'd start to see that popping up in different interview bites where Phil would say one thing, Tim Stewart would say another, Amy Hood would say something, you'd have Satya saying something. So, for example, we have Asha Sharma saying, I hear you on exclusives. Okay. But then we have Microsoft CEO saying, if it were up to me, I'd get rid of exclusives. And it's so funny. It's like, dog, it is up to you. And I think he just had that moment where he's like, wait a minute. I'm the CEO of the whole company. This is up to me at the end of the day. No doubt this was said during the wait for the Activision Blizzard acquisition to be finalized, because as you can see, this statement was June 28th, 2023. So yeah, we were still waiting on that acquisition there. So we know that Satya Nadella isn't a fan of exclusives. Here was his exact quote. He said, if it was up to me, I would get rid of the entire sort of exclusives on console, but that's not up to me to define, especially as a low share player in the console market, that the dominant player there has defined market competition using exclusives. And so that's the world we live in. I have no love for that world. The dominant player Nadella is referring to is certainly Sony, which builds its library on the back of AAA exclusives like God of War, Horizon, Spider-Man, and more. Nadella also explained his general philosophy is to put software on more platforms, not fewer, saying that's the Microsoft I grew up in. I believe that. So obviously we know that belief is strong because Xbox has walked away from exclusivity. We had the business meeting update where Phil, Sarah, and Matt sat down and said, we just have 4 games we're bringing over. It's not going to be any more. That summer, before Indiana Jones even got an Xbox release date, it got its PlayStation window first. And from there, we knew the Band-Aid was getting ripped off pretty significantly, and that Xbox was going all in on multi-platform. The other thing with Asha saying, I hear you on exclusives, is I would take it as she's just listening to feedback, simply because literally in her introductory letter on the Microsoft blog post, she says this: gaming now lives across devices, not within the limits of any single piece of hardware. So a lot of people on Twitter have been, I hate to use the word because it's a little bit overused now, but they have been like coping a little bit. Like, oh, is it back? But it's in direct contradiction to her boss, which she shares a lot of traits with, which we'll talk about with her pro AI background. But also it's in contradiction to what she has said publicly as sort of a mission statement here. So I would not take the tweet over the official statement here, which again says that everything lives across all these devices and not within the limits of any single piece of hardware. As we expand across PC, mobile, and cloud, Xbox should feel seamless, instant, and worthy of the communities we serve. We will break down barriers so developers can build once and reach players everywhere without compromise. Again, that just sounds to me like multi-platform strategy isn't going anywhere. Like, people can say all day it's over, but I really don't think we're going back to the only on Xbox stamp days. I would love to be wrong about that, though, because I think inherently exclusivity can be good for gaming. And what I've argued in the past, and we'll have a conversation at some point in the future on how I think PlayStation justifies it a bit, is some projects do get to see the light of day because it does create an identity for your platform. And so that means some risks can be taken on some projects that otherwise wouldn't exist in a multi-platform era. It also gives games a little bit of a strategic roadmap, like start off on one platform, build up an audience, go to other platforms. We see indie and AA do this a lot. The other thing that Asha Sharma said that I found really interesting was that she wants to commit to the core Xbox fans who have invested in us for the past 25 years. It starts with a renewed commitment to Xbox, starting with the console, which is shaped who we are. Okay. So again, what does this exactly mean? People see this, and again, we go back to this tweet here, hear you, and we see a commitment to console, and our brains wander in all these fun places, and we think to ourselves, like, okay, Asha's going to bring back Xbox to the renegade spirit of the original Xbox, where it was fierce exclusives that really defined the platform. I don't think that's happening here. What she's really talking about when she's sharing across devices is something like this from Windows Central Gaming. Microsoft hasn't fully internally committed to a hard 2027 launch window for the next-gen Xbox platform, since so much of it hinges on improvements to Windows 11 and other factors. Microsoft's Windows and Xbox teams are collaborating harder than ever to get the OS into shape for a polished console-like experience on Xbox, and thus aren't forcing themselves to adhere to a specific hard cutoff point. You can think of 2027 as a best-case scenario, but having a polished experience is the North Star for Xbox. So my point I'm trying to make here, based on Jez's reporting, is that I think the main reason Xbox hangs around, which we'll talk about whether or not it's going to get sunsetted, I think the main reason it hangs around is because it does benefit Windows and its dominance in the PC space. We do see competitors rising up, Steam OS, Linux. We see different OS starting to get into the conversation a little bit. Is it reaching the mainstream where like millions and millions of users are switching over? No, but it's starting to hit that hardcore demographic like us a little bit. And that usually is the first sign that a barrier has been broken, and it can reach more masses from there. Think of it like any entertainment product on the market, right? Where it just like, I think of like shows around video games where it starts off with the hardcore base and you appease them, and then you have like Fallout TV show where it's like the biggest show in the world when the first season came out, right? So when I look at something like this here, I don't think this commitment to console is suddenly the traditional box I got behind me there, which you can't really see, it's a little bit off camera, but your Series X, which is making Xbox exclusives. It's making a PC-like environment because Microsoft benefits from controlling the PC space entirely, and they don't want to lose that, and a lot of people game on PC. So whether you're gaming on Steam or wherever, it doesn't matter. They want to control that sort of ecosystem. So consider that when you're thinking about commitment to consoles, right? All I'm trying to do here is add perspective. One thing that also Asha Sharma talks about that I thought was very, very telling was this. To meet the moment, we will invent new business models and new ways to play by leaning into what we already have. Iconic teams, characters, and worlds that people love. But we're not going to treat those worlds as static IP to milk and monetize. We will build a shared platform and tools that empower developers and players to create and share their own stories. This can be taken a lot of ways. She tries to get ahead of it a little bit here. As monetization and AI evolve and influence this future, we will not chase short-term efficiency or flood our ecosystem with soulless AI slop. So those two statements to me combine for something rather interesting, because business model changes can mean a lot of things. I have a theory on what it can be, but obviously our brains go right to Xbox Game Pass. So we have this article here from The Gamer, and they were covering what The Information was reporting on, but the information is, as you can see here, paywalled. So unfortunately, we can't check it out there. But they say that Microsoft CEO had made a choice between acquiring major game studios in an attempt to bolster Xbox Game Pass and its cloud gaming services, or to wind Xbox down entirely. Since Xbox is alive and kicking barely, and Microsoft has since acquired the likes of Bethesda and Activision Blizzard, we know that Nadella went for the former. So why is this all important? You might be asking yourselves. Well, it started to define their Game Pass goal. And their Game Pass goal was something hella ambitious, I'll tell you what. What we see here is they write, Microsoft has been all in on Game Pass and cloud gaming recently, even attempting to distance itself from its own console with bizarre, this is an Xbox marketing campaign, which has now been attributed to Sarah Bond as the scapegoat for that. It starts to make a bit more sense when you find out Microsoft reportedly wanted Game Pass to have 100 million subscribers before 2030. That's also according to the information which claims Microsoft set this target before the acquisition of Activision Blizzard. It seems as though Microsoft planned for the deal to have a much greater impact than it had, and the information reports that the company had also hoped the deal would coax other developers into renting Azure cloud servers, which it's safe to say did not happen, because what is the number we have right now for Xbox Game Pass? Not 100 million, 34 million. And this is as of February 15th, 2024. So yeah, they're way off from their goal here. So the question is similar to what was happening with Xbox Live Gold, where you had the Gamers for Gold. What was it called? Or no, the Xbox Games for Gold, right? Where they would give you free games every month. And eventually it was turning into shovelware, and people were like, dude, just sunset this thing. Like, we're all over to Game Pass. And even then, they hung on to it for a really long time into the series generation. Never really gave up on it until like much later. So with Xbox Game Pass, I do think the route is eventually recognizing, hey, this was a Phil Spencer thing. This is the Asha Sharma regime. She might not believe in this and want to exit entirely. I think that's part of the reason we saw the price hike is like, hey, we're not going to reach our growth target, but maybe we can reach a revenue target by charging the hardcore base of Game Pass users, even if we lose from, say, 34 million to 24 million. If we're charging them 50% more, we'll still be making the same amount or something like that. Like, let's readjust our goals, basically. But it's possible Asha Sharma comes in and she's like, you know what? I don't like Game Pass. This is cannibalizing our sales, and sunsets it. I think that could be one of the first tough decisions she has to make because it was very much a Phil Spencer thing. And I think it will be very telling on exactly what goes on here because I think Xbox going multi-platform kind of indicates what Game Pass is doing to the platform, which was incentivizing people to not purchase games. And I think that is a tough habit to overturn. I don't know if you can just do that by removing the service. Could you add more value to the service? I don't know. I saw a lot of people pushing for that, saying, hey, add more to the premium tier. I don't know if they're going to bolster Game Pass, to be frank with you. At the end of the day, it's anybody's guess, but she's embracing new business models. And I feel like in an AI world, while she does say no AI slop, my brain does race to this article from the Hollywood Reporter here, where they write, on the company's fourth quarter and full 2025 earnings conference call, Disney CEO Bob Iger said Disney Plus is in the midst of rolling out its biggest and most significant changes from a product perspective, from a technology perspective, since we launched the service in 2019. Changes will include games, or at least a number of games like features on Disney Plus through its agreement with Epic Games. And there will also be, this is the key point, Gen AI short form user generated content on Disney Plus in the future. Quote, the other thing that we're really excited about that AI is going to give us the ability to do is to provide users of Disney Plus with much more engaged experience, including the ability for them to create user-generated content and to consume user-generated content, mostly short form from others, Iger continued. Yeah, like it's bleak, man. That's a terrifying reality that we're pitching there. But when I see here, to meet the moment, we have to invent new business models and new ways to play by leaning into what we already have here. She also mentions shared platform and tools, AI, developers, fair, players to create and share their own stories. Now you can read into this two ways, like create and share your own stories, like, hey, you experienced this video game. What was your story within it, right? Like simple, and it could be that cut and dry. But I can't help but read into it a little bit and go, okay, we have this very pro AI head of gaming and create and share your own stories. We see Disney is willing to flirt with AI in that way with user-generated content. We're seeing Xbox with Copilot for gaming flirt with that stuff. So I can't look at this with the utmost confidence and not think this is an idea, a business model that Xbox might be flirting with. Like, hey, if you are a Game Pass subscriber, if they decide to keep it around, you can create your own games. Matty, you don't want to wait for Fallout 5? We've got you covered, man. Here's a cheap way to make a new Fallout experience. And so I know she committed to no AI slot, but I think, again, what I'm trying to encourage with this is keeping an open mind on sort of all the different ways things can go for Xbox. A lot of people have immediately rushed to, again, we'll bring it up one more time, this stamp, this comment, and her commitment to console, and said like, oh, okay, like that's what's happening. And maybe it could. I would love for that to be the case, but you have to keep your mind open to these other possibilities at Xbox. If you were to ask me, like, what's a great way to get some easy wins here? If I'm just thinking on a games front, Asha Sharma needs to greenlight a bunch of shit that I know some of it's already greenlit in the Fallout world, but like Phil and co, I think the biggest mistake they did was like sitting on their hands too much. Like, why weren't there more Fallout games and Elder Scrolls games when you bought Bethesda, the most valuable IP, hand over fist, no doubt about it, the most publicly recognizable stuff that they have that has reached the mainstream and has sold tens of millions of units is Elder Scrolls and Fallout. The fact that that company was purchased and Xbox did nothing with those IP and continued to shovel 76 content our way and go, well, every Todd Howard interview, every Phil interview, pretending it's this drawn out, put it perfectly, pretending it's this big secret. Like, oh, no one really knows about it. It's like, it's not a secret, guys. Just not that many people are into 76. Like, no one's not paying attention. We know it's there, but not many people care compared to a brand new Fallout game if it were single player. So if I'm her, greenlight some of the easy wins, right? Fallout, Elder Scrolls. We know Fallout's already greenlit though, but more Elder Scrolls, more, bring back some IP, Banjo. Hey, you know what would look really good? We've seen sometimes, and we'll talk about this a little bit in our story about Prototype, we've seen the lights kind of turn on a bit for these Activision licensed games. bring some of those back. Maybe a little bit of a commitment to backwards compatibility through Xbox's accessibility on all platforms. Like, start bringing back the Transformers games, Marvel Ultimate Alliance. Like, I don't know if these will be heavy hitters, but I think about it like you're a new president. You kind of got to set the standard for your citizens and sort of like get some easy wins in early to build confidence in what your cabinet can do. So I feel like greenlighting some stuff could work in your favor. I don't know. Could be wrong here. Worst thing she can do, again, is what Disney Plus is doing. Now, to wrap all of this up here, the expectations are in a pretty grim place because it's not even just like people will look at content creators like me and go, oh, he's dooming or whatever the fuck people want to say. But what you're starting to see is like actual former higher ups at Xbox have some thoughts and feelings on this. We have this report here from Games Radar, and they're talking to the original co-founder of Xbox and console designer in Seamus Blackley, who says Xbox, like a lot of business that aren't core AI business, is being sunsetted, he said. They don't say that, but that's what's happening. I expect that the new CEO, Asha Sharma, her job is going to be palliative care doctor who slides Xbox gently into the night. Blackley also expressed some confusion at Sharma's appointment, concluding that the logical explanation is that Microsoft, especially CEO Satya Nadella, wanted an AI person for what is viewed as an AI job. Quote, I imagine asking somebody if it made sense to put a major motion picture studio in the hands of somebody who didn't like movies or a major record label in the hands of somebody who's never seen a live show, Blackley said. Why would you do that? Well, you only do that if you're looking at the problem in a more abstract way. The natural consequences of the focus on AI is that AI abstracts every problem from the minds of the executives who believe in it. We're abstracting, the problem of games as well. There's a core belief, and you can see it in what Satya said, that AI will subsume games like it will subsume everything. And so, yeah, man, I mean, when you pay attention to what Satya is saying, and he's putting someone who's very pro AI, who's leapfrogged an entire division, and what you'll notice is, in Phil's like goodbye speech and everything like that, there's no Sarah Bond. Like, she resigned. She was absolutely going to be Phil's successor and got completely leapfrogged. And also we're seeing her become the scapegoat too. So I think, again, you got to look at this very skeptically where, you know, what Asha does will be very interesting. I know there's like two sides of the coin here, and I think it lies somewhere in the middle. Like, there's the people who sympathize for Asha. Like, people are already counting out, what the hell, let's give her a shot. And I think we should give her a shot. Let's see where things go, right? Can it get worse? Is it a really bad spot? The other thing is, like, you know, like, you have reasons to doubt her. She has said some insane shit already, whether it be commitments to Xbox or just her past comments on AI. Like, she's totally there with the AI brain rot, like totally a believer in it. You know, I'm not just making that up. There are literally clips out there, like, of her saying, like, oh, I think of the birth rate and how like AI can help that. I'm just like, what? Like, that's where AI brain rot sets in. It's like, I'm not so full anti-AI that I don't think it can be useful, but like, you can connect these dots that somehow just, I don't know how you do it, but like, that's what pro AI people do. And so that's what I see Satya Nadella doing here is like, hey, this doesn't make sense to most of us, but like, let's put her in charge of things and see where it goes. But at the same time, when I look at like Joanna Faries, who's the head of Blizzard, it looks like Blizzard's enjoying a pretty good era right now. And Joanna Faries stepped in as the head of Blizzard and had no prior gaming experience. So that's the open-minded take. I think, again, it lies somewhere in the middle. Asha Sharma has to climb a mountain, just like Phil Spencer had to climb a mountain that Don Matrick had put them in the hole early. And so Phil did a great job in a lot of ways, but then a lot of those choices that got Xbox momentum bit them long term. So we'll see what Asha does, but no doubt I expect her to act aggressively. I think there's going to be a full assessment of the business. Why are we doing Game Pass? I think that's what she's here to do. Ask a lot of why questions. Phil isn't here to protect a Ninja Theory, a Compulsion Games. You took 7 years to make that game. Why? Why do we have you sold that many? Why? Why do we have you? I do see a big bloodbath coming. Like, this is in before we get into a massive wave of layoffs that no doubt will hit the company. So that's what I feel about Xbox and their new leadership. I feel we have to look carefully at the words, of course, but pay attention to the actions. Pay attention to the trends, right? When you see Game Pass is missing its targets and then the new CEO is saying, hey, we need to embrace new business models, that might mean something is happening to Game Pass. When she says, I hear you on Twitter, and she's telling you that in regards to exclusives, but her official statement says gaming is across all devices, not a single piece of hardware. I would not bet any money on Xbox exclusives coming back. Maybe timed at best. And we've seen Xbox flirt with that already with temporary exclusivity, but it's just confusing now because they've gone so hard in one direction that when, you had Forza Horizon 6 with the delayed PlayStation launch, people were like, why? Forza Horizon 5 did so well, but Fable is day and date on all platforms. So again, I don't think you can really put that genie back in the lamp. So we'll see where they go, but that's the take on Asha Sharma, man. Best of luck to her. I want Xbox to be great. I think we need Xbox to be great because PlayStation, based on the job Herman Hulst has done, the fact that this dude is still employed, it's like, what? Like, I mean, I don't think like the alternative, like shut Xbox down. Like, yeah, the people who are rah-rahing that, I think they're out of their minds because like it just gets way worse from that point. Not that Xbox is this benevolent force, but they create enough action and enough competition where you can't just leave PlayStation to their own devices. And whoever fills that void of Xbox, it's certainly not going to be Valve based on the way they've talked about the Steam machine. So what is it? Apple with an iBox? Do we want that? Do we see that going well? Anybody's guess, man. Anybody's guess. Chad, I'd love to hear your thoughts on this one. Oh, it's 1,400 of you here. Holy shit. That's the fun part about recording these is I get into that recording flow and I come back and there's just so many more of you here. And I'm like, all right, let's catch up with the chat. Let's see what's going on here. Got some super chats as well here. Dr. Strange, yours is the only one in my queue, but I know I got a couple other I got to get to. This sounds harsh, but if I'm Asha, I cancel everything Obsidian is doing and put them on Fallout while Bethesda works on Elder Scrolls 6. I get it. Like, I get it. That's the thing is I don't know how much you can mandate these tasks, but Obsidian should have made a Fallout game a while ago. If Bethesda was so busy, Obsidian should have made a Fallout game a while ago. I know it's tough because I'm a defender of Obsidian Entertainment. Like, I think people are very hard on them, and I get why after Avowed, I guess, but I feel like Outer Worlds 2 was an immediate kind of redemption. And so I think when you have a company like Obsidian that's transparent about their year of Obsidian and how it wasn't the victory lap that people claimed it to be, like, they're not so full of hot air. They're very reflective, and I think that should be embraced. So I don't want to force them to do anything because they do a great job kind of outside of Avowed, I think, following their heart, following what they think is great because they've delivered to me some of my favorite games. But I also think it's absolutely fucking insane that no one has come in and been like, you got to do a Fallout game, guys. I really... Like, I agree with that. I understand that the aggressiveness of the take, but I do think there's got to be something happen with Fallout. It's way overdue. And now we see them chasing their tails. Let me catch up on a couple of their super chats here. Winky B asked me, have you checked out the Passage Book trilogy by Justin Croynan? Highly recommend. I think it'd be right down your alley. I've heard of this. I'll check it out though. Yeah, I want to finish my Witcher book read through. I'm a little bit of ways into Time of Contempt. So we're getting there. But I'll definitely check that out. I'm looking for my next journey after Witcher. I've been really enjoying reading lately. Plasma Snake, thank you for your super chat. Matty, I've been enjoying your Resident Evil Retro Rebound videos leading up to 9, but what do you mean you haven't played RE1? RE1 Remake is peak. Yeah, I'm gonna try to make right on that. I think after 9, I'm done with Resident Evil for a while, but it's like first on the list when I start picking it back up. It's that and Code Veronica. Sorry, I accidentally clicked on that. Baldur's Gate 3 style Fallout spinoff. Yeah, like I also, okay, so I'm also like a huge defender of, there's nothing to really defend about them, I guess, but In Exile, I think is going to be excellent. And I think they're a company that should take their time, but also they had all that Wasteland stuff. And like why we weren't looking at Wasteland 3 and saying, hey, why don't we make this like Fallout? Like you just make a Fallout 1 style game or remake Fallout 1 from this perspective with these systems and see how it goes. I think a lot of developers aren't like, for me, I'm very motivated by like, can we execute on an idea quickly? Because I grew up during an era where like companies were executing on ideas quickly. Like I would get my sequel in 2 years and that was an amazing feeling. But nowadays, like it's become this very like, well, if we just did Wasteland 3, but Fallout, is that really what people want? I'm like, fuck yeah, it is. Fuck yeah, it is, dude. So yeah, why we didn't get any of that is also a question. I know I could go all in on Fallout, but like I was trying to balance it out a little bit. Like there are tons of IP with Rare that you could greenlight if you're Xbox. Easy wins that could just, if you kind of mount those up, does it turn into anything? I don't know. Xbox had great PR early in the generation, but they always found a rake to step on to the point that's basically their rep. But you could get some big wins. I hope Halo's great. That could be a big win in general, but we'll see. Halo going multi-platform is, I think, kind of like I forgot to mention that. Like, it's beyond what Asha said. Halo going multi-platform. I don't care if it's a remake. Halo going multi-platform, dude, there's no way that you can go back from that. Time Splitters and Turok, new era and reintroduced. Time Splitters is a good one. I like that one, Adventure. That's a good one. Sarah was an incredible deal maker and the person giving credit for getting the ABK deal done, and I believe originally brought on because of her mobile platform experience she had from T-Mobile. Yeah, I mean, that's what a lot of people say. Like, I know I don't want to be quoted, so I'm not going to say that. But I know that she was apparently instrumental in a lot of deals that Xbox made, ones that were pain points for them. So that's why I'm not saying like, I'm protecting the millionaire corporate C-suite executive. Like, don't insult her. I'm not getting there with that, but I do feel for her a little bit. Like, there was in that Tom Warren article, there's very little criticism of Sarah Bond. And I mean, you don't even have to have love for her to like read into that and be like, holy shit, dude. Like, it's getting ugly. So yeah, man, like I feel bad for her. So, you know, we'll see what turns out. I'm sure she'll eventually have a comment of her own. Someone will get a hold of her, but we'll see. Miss Mary, have you ever played Castle Crashers? Yes. Batman Buttsack. I remember you from Last Stand write-ins. You have a very memorable name. I can't believe you had this on YouTube too, bro. What are we doing? Yeah, Castle Crashers is a good time, though. Bring back 1 versus 100. That was a rumor, Kyle. That was a rumor for a while that Xbox is going to bring back 1 versus 100. Yeah, 100% Plasma. Threw her right under the bus. Like, it's just crazy because there were so many things that Phil was doing and peddling beforehand before her, and I'm just like, like, I get Phil's respected, but are we really trying to like protect this dude's legacy that much? I don't know. Little cray-cray. Little cray-cray. That's just me, though. I'm getting our second story up here, guys. Give me 1 sec if I'm not really super talkative. Just trying to make sure I got everything organized. Come on with the prototype news. Sorry, favorite franchise. Don't worry, Dave. We're getting there. Dave, I know. Dave, the order, if it helps you at all, if you need to like tune out or whatever and you want to tune in later, or this is what Matty Slop's for, if you just want to like hang out later. My order right now is Xbox Topic 1, Xbox Topic 2, which is we're about to get into because this is the headline, so obviously I don't want to lie to the audience. I'll do you a solid, Dave. Dave, I'll do you a solid. Here's what I'll do. I'm going to move the prototype story up one. Originally, it was going to be Kingdom Come Deliverance, but we'll do prototype third for you. So after this story coming up, we're going to do prototype, and then we'll do Kingdom Come Deliverance. I'll do you solid. As a fellow prototype fan, I get it. So I got you covered there, buddy. Worry not. Okay. Let me continue to get these links up. This one's a little bit more in depth than the other one because we're kind of going to assess the actions of Asha Sharma thus far. Beyond her comments. We're gonna be watching a lot of clips, y'all. A lot of clips. It's gonna be fun. I had to do a lot of research for this one. A lot of listening to AI talks too. Oh man. I don't know. You're welcome, Dave. I don't know if Prototype 3 is a thing, but definitely I think they're going to bring back and remake Prototype 1. We'll get into that a little bit. Okay. Just want to bring up this from Asha. This girl's outside. I'll give her credit. She is taking the bull by the horns. Okay. Yeah, there's going to be... All right, so we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 things. Emmett, I don't know if you're watching this stream. I don't know if you're here, dude, but like you're going to have to do some serious chopping around, I think, this story, because I have 5 different clips that we're going to like pause and watch together and talk about. So we're gonna have a little bit of our work cut out for this Matty Slot video. That's for sure. Prototype is Xbox IP. Yeah, no, Darth Monkey, you're right. Yeah, like I think the way I'm tying the story together is there's New Radical Games, and then there is Xbox, and sort of some type of thing happening with Activision licensed IP that makes me think that like Prototype might be around and kicking. You really think they're going to get rid of a $5 billion a year business for Game Pass? No, I never said that. I think if it's going to cannibalize their sales, if they do the numbers, like again, Phil believed that this was the future, right? But some new leader might come in and say, that's not it. I'm going to calculate the numbers. And actually, if we get to all of our games at X copies sold, because right now the statement from Amy Hood is privately, but then Obsidian kind of aired the dirty laundry, is the 30% profit margin. I don't know if you can hit that if everyone's basically renting your game through a subscription service. I don't know if it works that way. I don't know how they crunch the numbers at Xbox. So for me personally, when I look at this, I'm like, no, I don't think they want to flush that money down the toilet. Don't get me wrong. But do I think they want to create a more sustainable business and they think Game Pass may be cannibalizing it a little bit? I think they're going to assess it for sure. I fear Xbox will be gone as a platform, to be honest. I'm not fully there. I think at the very least, you'll see Xbox as like a software publisher. Mr. Melancholy, thank you. Matty, great work on the videos. Did you guys decide on a title for your game? All the Stars is what I came up with for my game. Check it out sometime. I'll look it up, dude. Thank you for sharing. Yeah, I have a title for our game. Yeah, I came up with it. I've had multiple titles for our game, I should say, but this one is the one I'm going with. But we have to like go through like trademarking and make sure that like we can actually do it, you know, because like that's the other complicated aspect is like we had a different company name in mind for when we set up ourselves as a developer, and we unfortunately didn't get it because of Warner Bros. Warner Bros had a trademark on the name. I was like, fucking bastards. I'm gonna suck if Xbox tanks now, but interesting road. Yeah, they give us a lot to talk about. I guess, I mean, I'm not that selfish as a content creator. There's always something to talk about, but at least there's relevant, interesting stuff to talk about. But it's probably not fun for Xbox. Dudes are wearing dresses for Phil's legacy. What happened to Xbox indie / arcade games of the 360 era? I think just indies kind of outgrew it. Indies are like kind of controlling the industry. They're bigger than that now. I don't think they need to be on just like one place, one platform. I think indie games are just kind of like out there doing their thing. We're seeing that new indie golf game take over, the Super Battle Golf or whatever it's called. So I think it just takes like one tweet and momentum, and like they just kind of do their thing. They spread on social media because people want to see like the little guy punch above their weight. So I don't know, like it's where it all started for a lot of developers, but it's bigger than that now. So yeah, that's my take on that. I do miss those days though. I remember finding State of Decay 1 there as a post-apocalyptic fan. That was brilliant. Just buy Warner Bros. Matty. Yeah, easy, right? No problems there. Let me get my headphones on, make sure the volume's good on these clips. Okay. We're good on that. Okay. Will Game Pass become something like PS Plus? I could see it. Yeah, that's a good way of thinking about it. Like PS Plus right now is in a good pocket of like, it has monthly games. It's not really day one. Their catalog is huge. They have a great classics library as well. And they put trophies on their classics, which by the way, Asha Sharma, easy win, achievements on classics. Like, what are we doing, baby? Why is PlayStation beating Xbox out on that? That was crazy. But yeah, PlayStation's got something going, and then the streaming being kind of folded into PS Plus makes my PS Portal very useful. So, you know, I think Game Pass could kind of, I mean, in a lot of ways, Game Pass is similar in that way, but PlayStation offers it at a better value right now. That's one of the main differences. That's a good point. Kingdom Come Deliverance was the indie, and now look at them. Yeah, like indie can become something far greater. So I don't know if they really need, especially with Kickstarter and stuff. Yeah, you don't really need Xbox Live Arcade or anything like that. All right, let me see here. All right. I think we are good to start our next story. Okay. Y'all ready? Here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for the, what do we want to call this? The investigation of Asha Sharma, the new head of Xbox. What we're looking at right now are a ton of different comments that have come out from her and sort of following this down the rabbit hole a little bit. First, I want to start off with how she kind of got into the position she is, which seems to have been a little bit more accelerated based on rumors and conversations that we've had online. I want to actually begin with this clip here from Kind of Funny Games where they're talking. It's Greg Miller, and he had the following to say.
Yeah, and I don't think they know what that vision is. And I think that's the problem where that, and I think it's because this was not planned. I don't think this was, I've been past, again, back to me, this is a newsroom. We're getting phone calls. People are moving up. I've been past something that, again, reiterates to me. I'm not going to read it, but like reiterates of like, oh, no, this was not planned. No.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, this was the suspicion people had because after what happened with Sarah Bond and her LinkedIn profile posting promotional material for Xbox accessibility despite her resigning hours later, it seemed like something had gone a bit awry. Basically, what we had learned through reports was the plan was for Phil to actually retire and announce all of this on Monday, but they accelerated it to Friday because IGN was about to break the news and they didn't want to go into the weekend like that. So that is kind of the beginning of this all. And so that's why, among many reasons, Asha Sharma kind of like jump scared us all. Like, wait, who's the head of Xbox now? Anyway, this goes down the rabbit hole a little bit more because one thing you'll recognize is like Sarah was only mentioned, as you can see here, I control F'd it at the top. Sarah was mentioned twice in this entire goodbye message from Phil, Asha, Matt, everyone. And it was only Sarah mentioned twice. As part of this transition, Sarah Bond has decided to leave Microsoft to begin a new chapter. Sarah has been instrumental during a defining period for Xbox, shaping our platform strategy, expanding Game Pass and cloud gaming, supporting new hardware launches, and guiding some of the most significant moments in our history. I'm grateful for her partnership and the impact she's had, and I wish her the very best in what's to come next. A lot of people think there's bad blood, especially because of Tom Warren's report at The Verge, basically openly scapegoating Sarah Bond for everything wrong with Xbox, even though a lot of that was part of the Phil Spencer initiative before Sarah Bond was president of Xbox. Granted, she was with the company since 2017 and had a very pretty title right next to it, so it's not like she was completely innocent, but I think the blame is shared here. Now, where things get a little bit more interesting on sort of the Sarah Bond drama as we carry this into Asha Sharma and some of her recent comments is right here. So basically today on Monday, February 24th, we have this emotional day here for the team. And this is Phil basically saying goodbye. So let's take a little bit of a look here at this. They're best friends, as you can tell. Whole team is here. Good Lord. Yeah, so everyone's outside, but you might have noticed something in the picture Asha Sharma shared here on her Twitter profile. Who's missing here? Yeah. No Sarah Bond. So, again, you got to kind of raise an eyebrow at sort of how she was handling all of this. Again, I'm not trying to overly defend her. I didn't agree with her every decision and the comments she had made, but she was pretty instrumental to Xbox, and I'm very surprised she's not getting really any public love. Like, even here on Greenberg's tweet, this is the VP of Games Marketing at Microsoft, and you see here, like, there is no mentioning of Sarah Bond. So I found that to be a little bit disappointing. But let's get into Asha now. We're paying attention to the actions here. What has she said? Because the big fear with Asha Sharma is like, hey, she's got AI brain rot, dog. So let's get into that. First off is her comments, of course, as she is accepting this role as CEO of Xbox. She says, today, Matt and I had the chance to recognize Phil Spencer. Over the past couple months, we've talked nearly every day about everything from hardware and strategy to creators and culture, and plenty about our kids and dogs too. These conversations gave me a front row seat to what many of you have known for decades. Phil is a remarkable leader, but even more than that, he's a deeply remarkable human being. When he took over Xbox in 2014, it was a pivotal moment. He pushed for backward compatibility because players asked for it. He helped bring Xbox One X to life. He created Game Pass, and through it all, he recentered our decisions around players and creators. A lot of careers get summed up by milestones. Phil's impact shows up in stories. I actually like that comment. It's very nice. In the creators who felt safe taking risks, in the teams who did the best work their lives because someone believed in them, and in players across generations who felt like Xbox was theirs. I'll always remember this day. I'm proud to be part of Team Xbox. Now our journey begins. So she's officially in. That's what all this is leading to. She's officially in. Like we talked about, the report was like actually Monday was supposed to be the day Asha Sharma was ushered in. So a lot of that was accelerated because of the press. So what has Asha Sharma said since then, right? What actions has she taken since then? Well, let's start off with this here article from Variety, which talks about what makes a great game and having no tolerance for bad AI. So let's scroll down a little bit here. She said, what makes a great game for Sharma, whose roles prior to core AI includes top position at Instacart and Meta? The new Microsoft gaming CEO tells Variety it's all about games with deep emotional resonance and a distinct point of view. She wants to develop stories that make players feel something like the kind of feelings that Campo Santo's 2016 first-person mystery, Firewatch, elicited in her. Sharma takes on the mantle as the head of leading the competitor to Sony's PlayStation and Nintendo, knowing full well she's entering a role as an outsider with a lot to learn still. This is something that was really questioned with Asha Sharma, is about her gaming rep and was she running her own Twitter account. We'll jump ahead to that real quick before we finish out this interview here, because it did bring about this conversation of like, does Asha Sharma need to be a gamer to get it all? And I think she actually had, to be fair, a pretty good reply, because I think you just got to own it. There was the whole, when people were looking into her gamer tag history, yeah, it looked like she was frauding a little bit. So what exactly was happening there? She said to Ryan McCaffrey, the OG Duke, do I believe AI is writing Asha Sharma's post? No. Do I believe that an experienced gamer on the Xbox team may be helping her sound more like a real gamer with social replies? Yes. Do I think it's a bad idea to try and fake this? Yes. Completely agree. OG Duke, always on point. Asha says, I agree. Faking would be a terrible idea and wouldn't work. I also didn't expect my gamer tag to blow up, and the reality is more boring, which, by the way, like, what? You didn't expect it to blow up? You're the CEO of Xbox, and you shared it with your community. So, again, did Phil, like, and anyone warn her about, like, how Xbox community can be on Twitter? Did anyone give this girl, this poor woman, a little bit of a heads up on that? She says, I created recently to learn and understand this world. So she admits it, which I think is good. I've played with my family, and it's a shared home account across devices, which you can see in the range of games and achievements. Fixed that this weekend, and everyone is playing on their own gamer tags. But I get where this is coming from. I don't pretend to be the best gamer even though I'm playing. That's not the goal. My focus is to make Xbox the best place to play, return to our roots, ship great things, and become stronger in the future. And yes, I'm writing my own posts. Okay, I'm a little bit skeptical about her writing her own posts, I'll be honest with you. But with all that said, this does get into a comment that came from Take-Two CEO Strauss Zelnick about what makes a great CEO, a great executive. Do you have to play games to be involved, to understand that all? I think it might help with some perspective, but I think part of the goal with putting someone like Asha Sharma in charge is someone who is not deeply in love with the process, like someone like me, or someone like Phil, or someone who was apparently like Sarah, although that report from The Verge said that Sarah was not much of a gamer. But anyway, does an executive need to play games? I think, again, that Take-Two CEO Strauss Zelnick puts it well. Let's hear what he had to say about GTA 6.
You don't play a lot.
Still render?
I'm not a gamer.
We were talking about this earlier. You don't play a lot. So
Not a lot. I don't play video games.
At all?
No, I do not. I'm not the consumer in chief. I am responsible
when they show you the game,
right.
Do you offer notes on the game? How does that work?
I share my opinions pretty openly. I think being the consumer in chief in an entertainment business as the CEO is probably a mistake. I wasn't the consumer in chief in the movie business or the television business or the music business, even though, you know, I certainly can read a script and I definitely love music and I was a musician. That's not my role. My role is to attract, retain, and motivate the best talent in the business and then get out of their way.
Perfect answer. Perfect answer. And you can tell because, like, all the comments are glazing this dude. He's like, I don't play video games. Oh, no. My role is to attract, motivate the best talent and then get out of their way. Oh, yes. Yeah, like some people just get it. And if that's what Asha Sharma is going to be, I don't care that she's like Phil and is on her Xbox profile responding to people with messages saying, hey, thanks. That was Phil's way of connecting. I don't think she needs to go the parasocial way of connecting. I think, frankly, she needs to stay up in her suite and make sure things are running well and making the best choices and then getting out of the way. If she can do that, great. So if she's taken on that Strauss Zelnick approach, I think that is about as great as you can ask for here. Now let's get back to this interview here with Variety. She says, I'm coming into gaming as a platform builder. Adding her goal is to earn the right to be trusted by players and developers and show the fan base consistency over time. In her interview with Variety, Sharma acknowledged the tumultuous state of the games industry, referencing Matthew Ball's recent State of Video Gaming in 2026 report as evidence of the larger transformation of the sector, or is protecting, what we believe in while remaining open-minded about the future. Okay. Asha, what future are you talking about, girl? Scares me a little bit. Due to her strong background in AI, initial reactions to Sharma's appointment have raised concerns about what her specific views are on the use of generative AI in game development. Sharma says her stance is simple. She has no tolerance for bad AI. Okay. She says AI has been long part of gaming and will continue to be, Sharma said, noting that gaming needs new growth engines, but that great stories are created by humans. Okay, so like I can't really argue with certain points there. New growth engines is interesting. Like right now, the current rule set we know about within Xbox Game Studios is you do not have to use AI. Like you don't have to use these AI-driven tools. I've always said that I think Satya is going to have that moment of like, to power our AI initiative, like the whole company has to run through that funnel. So we need to be training models, training tools. Our gaming division needs to be doing that. Our Windows division needs to be doing that. That's why Copilot's on Paint. So does this lead to a world where, hey, we need growth engines? Are we going to use AI to help move our games along a little bit faster? That's where, again, I get my backup a little bit. She does have a strong background in AI. She's hired people with a background in AI, and she's said as much about AI, which is a lot of the bulk of what I wanted to showcase here today. A lot of showing and telling, basically. Let's go to Rebs Gaming, who does a great job reporting on Halo news here. And he points out a recent hire here, which is that Craig Chinkata has been appointed to Chief of Staff for Xbox. I'm not saying this in a disrespectful way, but this is another name you look at and go, who? Who is Craig? Well, we go to his work portfolio here. He is now appointed Chief of Staff full-time at Xbox. Before this, General Manager, Cloud and AI Communications at Microsoft. Before that, he was, again, a lot of communications, a lot of PR work. He was originally at, what's it called? A company called Porch. And that's actually where this report from Windows Central picks up here, where him as well as Asha had united here. It says, after 7 years at Microsoft, Chinkata left in 2013 to join Porch. He would not return to Microsoft until 2016, where he has remained ever since, initially working on HoloLens before transitioning to Azure and then Cloud and AI. So it says Sharma worked at Porch as COO between 2013 and 2017. During that same period, Chinkata served as Senior Vice President and Head of Communications from 2013 to 2016. Their roles overlapped for roughly 2.5 years, meaning they were part of the same leadership team. While there's no public breakdown of how closely they work together, communication and operations typically align closely with growing a company. That makes it reasonable to assume that they had regular executive interaction during their time at Porch. And given that one thing that they're talking about in a positive way about Asha Sharma is that she's great with like user acquisition, is like, okay, you've got two here that are built around attracting talent, attracting users. What exactly that means? How are they going to do that? So they're going to take a very different approach here. But again, now you've got two people with AI background. Again, what I'm paying attention more to is not like what Asha's saying here as much on Twitter. I'm not running away with this. What I'm paying more attention to are things like this. Like, okay, this is who you're hiring. This is who you're putting as like, maybe was a second in command. You know, again, just like with Asha, I'll keep an open mind and give it a fair shot. We'll see where it goes. But this is where I think a lot of people start to get their back up with Asha because of some of the comments she's made across her time at Microsoft. Now, I've kind of organized this from what I think is best to worst, like, okay, fine, to okay, and then, oh. And the problem is that what she said in her opening statement on the Microsoft blog post, which was, again, I will remind you all here, let me control F it, right here, soulless AI slop is in contradiction to her own boss. Let's hear how much Asha Sharma does like and believe in AI, because I think that's important context. Does this mean that she'll lead Xbox completely 110% into this direction? It's possible. Again, let's take a listen, because I think that's more important than anything I have to say.
I mean, I think that we just need to imagine the world as every application becoming an AI application. I would say think at a much bigger scale than what we have before.
Well,
so yeah, every application becoming AI application sounds awesome to me when she is entering a business that effectively is software. Okay, let's keep going down the rabbit hole. What else has she said? Different panel, unlocking the AI revolution. Let's listen.
Exactly what it used to be with coding, it's AI. What are some things that customers need to think about in order to make this transformation?
The number one thing I tell organizations is don't do AI for AI's sake.
Right.
Start from a business problem, start from a customer problem, work back from there. So that's part one. Part two is that trust needs to be a part of everything you do from the beginning. It can't be this bolt-on at the end. It has to be safe, secure, and private by design. And so the developers who are developing the products need to be thinking about this. The business decision makers that say we need to go solve this use case need to be thinking about trust from the beginning. And so those are the areas that I often push organizations on. I guess the last thing is that, use cases are going to continue to accelerate with Gen AI, and I encourage organizations to start to see around corners and solve problems that weren't possible before. Now that they have AI, and I think those are really magic moments.
I love.
Yeah, so she started great, right? Like even for a moment there, I'm like, did I get these clips out of order? She sounds fine right now, but then she gets into like companies need to look around corners, see things coming, and it starts with identifying a problem. Xbox has a problem, not enough users. Not enough sales, not generating enough revenue. And she is a believer in that AI can solve these types of problems. And especially in software development, which is a lot of what her work involved was like getting people onto these tool sets. I think that is her solution in a lot of ways. And I say this even though she says she's not for bad AI, but this one to me was the worst of them all. Again, I'm not trying to cherry pick, but I've listened to so much of her. And this seems to be a core belief in her. Whether she was doing her job or not, I don't know. Like, at least in those panels, okay, she's around Microsoft. These are planned talking points. But, like, here's her on a podcast that, to be frank, I've never heard of. But it's worth to listen. It's called How 80,000 Companies Build with AI, Products as Organisms, and the Death of Org Charts. Okay, Asha Sharma, let's hear what you've got to say about fertility rates.
Like, more for me, and the thing, like, I think about at night, outside of GPUs is, I think about like, will my son have classmates in the future? And that's not because agents are going to replace them. It's because the fertility rates are declining, right? Like the average birth rate in the 90s when we were growing up was like 3, and now it's 2.3, and in 2050 it's estimated to be, below replacement. And I think that AI can have such a big effect on it, and already is. Like, I was just reading about a hospital in London that's, able to improve pregnancy rates by using AI to match, eggs and sperms, and they're cutting costs at the same time. You saw with the ChatGPT 5 launch yesterday, such an amazing story about how ChatGPT is helping in healthcare. Stanford's one of our big customers with the platform that I build, and they're working on using AI for tumor reviews. And it's just like, that is like, it is these sets of things that will like move humanity forward and expand our lifetime and give us the like privilege to solve 100-year problems. And so that's why I'm excited, and that's why I do what I do.
That's why she does what she does. Now, I don't mind like AI and healthcare and that sort of stuff. I think that has interesting implications, no doubt about it. And certainly I'd love to live longer. So I'm not going to disagree on that. But just sort of the idea that AI is this one size fits all trick that fits and fixes all problems is what we've seen out of like the likes of like Sam Altman. Like we see this continuous pushing for AI. But yet, again, she says here, we don't have room for soulless AI slop. She says in her interview with The Variety that there's no tolerance for bad AI. Obviously, these are very planned talking points. Does she actually believe that when it's in contradiction to her CEO on the Scratchpad just December 29th, 2025, where he got publicly clowned for saying the following: a new concept that involves bicycles for the mind, such that we always think of AI as a scaffolding for human potential versus a substitution. What matters is not the power of any given model, but how people choose to apply it to achieve their goals. We need to get beyond the arguments of slop versus sophistication and develop a new equilibrium in terms of our theory of the mind. I always love that part. That accounts for humans being equipped with these new cognitive amplifier tools as we relate to each other. This is the way really rich people, high-ranking executives talk about AI. You don't get it. We do. And they solve all the problems, 100-year problems. They solve fertility rates. They solve that every application will eventually be AI. They let you see around the corner. that sort of stuff. So I think the best thing that Asha can do is take the Strauss Zelnick approach. What do you need as a team? I've got you. Okay, now I'm out of the way. That's great. Strauss Zelnick has been on record that he does not believe in Gen AI. Now we have a head of Xbox who has been on the record multiple times. I wanted to show and tell. I've listened to so much of her now that seems to have a fundamental belief in AI. This is difficult to overturn. Again, I'm not like a straight up AI doomer, but do I have a chip on my shoulder because of the damage it does to the planet, the damage it does to the entertainment industry, the damage it does to consumer electronics? 1,000%, dude. And when I got someone brain rotting that stuff over every subject matter and then coming to take over Xbox, you should be skeptical. So ultimately, we have, again, to round up, what actions are being taken here? She is saying there's no room for soulless AI slop. There's no room for bad AI. Okay, but then Chief of Staff, AI dude, history in cloud and AI communications. Okay. And then we have all these different clips here of her pushing toward AI and her boss pushing toward AI. So I feel like you can only look at it one way right now, and she'll have to overcome this as well. It does look a lot like Satya wants someone who pushes AI or has that fundamental belief and has a disconnect from the very foundation of the Xbox business as like a thinking of gamers, thinking of teams, and just thinking of how to drive this part of the business forward, because Microsoft wants to be at the front of this gold rush, right? They've been beat out in so many other parts of technology, but they, like many other companies, have gone all in on AI. And so here we are. These are the actions of Asha Sharma, and I'd say pay attention to them. No doubt, again, I'll keep the runway clear for her. I want to see what she does. Okay, you want to call this a clean break. She's not that person anymore. This is the new Asha Sharma. Let's see what that is. I think one thing that could do a lot of good for her, it's funny because I said like getting on Twitter and stuff is not a great idea, but one healthy critical interview, just a sit down, like get the OG Duke in there, Ryan McCaffrey, have him talk to Asha Sharma for like an hour and just let people get a feel for her. Let's challenge her a little bit, not random people on Twitter where she gives these half-baked replies and we turn it back into like, is Xbox going back to exclusivity? Like a real conversation that sets the tone. Now the expectations are all over the place. Is she pro AI? Is she for exclusivity? Is she going back to console? But she also says there's multiple devices. It's a fucking mess, dude. It's a complete mess. If I was Xbox, I would have just let it leak and just been like, okay, let people start talking about this. Let's make sure we get our ducks in a row, because it would be worse to scramble and usher in a new leader without clear communication. And here we are. Communication is this company's biggest weakness, and that seems to be continuing on. In fact, that's an easy win for her. If Asha Sharma is going to take any advice, I've talked about games she should green light, services she could look at. Just make the roadmap clear and stop letting people deviate and talk over you, man. That would be great. But those are the actions of Asha Sharma, and best of luck to her. How are we feeling? Sorry, there's a lot of clip watching, by the way. I know that was quite a bit, but I appreciate you guys sitting through that. Okay, let's see here. We got a new member, Melissa. Thank you. SK Under the Dome says this sounds like an HBO drama series. It is. When she says she won't tolerate bad AI, what she means is that all AI that is under the Microsoft umbrella is or that isn't under the Microsoft umbrella is bad, but not just theirs. It's just marketing. Yeah. Good point. Good point. Yeah. It's another way of looking at it. Sometimes I'm too naive for my own good. Let's go through some of these super chats here I missed. Woot Boot. Thank you for your $10 super chat. As misguided as Phil's decisions were, at least he cared about games. That's what scares me most about the future. It also seems Satya was the one making anti-exclusive decisions while Phil took the heat. Yeah, for sure. I think that was a big question mark. Is exactly like who made what decision. But yeah, I think given the business was going one way, at the same time, we were talking about like Xbox Game Pass being a disruptor, so much so that it could go over to like Nintendo Switch and PlayStation, but they wanted to keep their communities closed off and not disrupt their ecosystem. And I guess for good reason now. So yeah, it is a little worrying that like, do we know if Asha really cares about games or entertainment? And could that be good if she's just like, again, if you want like a literal, like optimistic take, Reggie Fils-Aimé came from a background involving being an executive at Pizza Hut. Like I read his whole book. Like this guy was like, he got recruited by Nintendo of America because of how successful he helped make like businesses such as Pizza Hut, and then he broke boundaries for Nintendo of America and made them a major player at the table alongside Japan. So if we're talking breaking boundaries like that, sure. Reggie was an insurmountable force. He did an amazing job, but he was not like, I mean, he was a gamer growing up, but like not to the, like this extreme. Like there were points in his book, I think he mentioned, where he stopped gaming for a while, or it was like less frequent for him. Although that book definitely was like a little PR coded, like he very much skims over the top of the Wii U, and he calls, I think, the way they launched was it the DS or the 3DS, like without a launch game or something? He called that like his greatest failure. And I'm like, not the Wii U, bro. Come on now. So yeah, you know, that's another way of looking at it. But yeah, I think Andrew House didn't have much of a gamer background, but he was like the face alongside Sean Layden of like one of PlayStation's most iconic eras. So it matters a little bit for sure, like to know and understand your business. But like if she commits and understands it now, that can still result in a similarly positive outcome as it has in the past. Arizona Zimmerman has said they want to build up systems that recreate themselves perpetually, so we never have to wait for another Fallout. Yeah, so that sounds like shit, dude. I want to know what like creators are going to make for Fallout. Like I want to know what a team is going to make for Fallout, not like what I can make with Fallout. Who gives a fuck what I can do? Maybe you guys would care about me working on a Fallout game. Who knows? But like, that's what I worry about, is the era of content generation. Because that's what they're trying to target, are people like me and TikTok, and being like, we just want to have you be able to make your own fun and not like listen to it. Crazy. JD Gamer, thank you for your super chat. Nope, gotta say it. No, Ryan McCaffrey, COG, and all AI isn't bad. AI, and we as a community have to get past that. We have to get to a point that is beyond that. Sure, I don't think a lot of people think all AI is bad, but for the damage it does to various industries and the planet, I think there needs to be at least some sort of justification that the sacrifice is worth it. And I think we can all agree on that as well. I don't think all AI is bad. I don't think many people think all AI is bad. But I think we are at the point where it's pushing a lot of things to the brink or making things more expensive. And we're wondering why when we're not seeing those immediate benefits. But companies swear to God it'll be worth it. And that's going to solve, as Asha put it, fertility rates. G-Mania writes, Alana Pierce had a breakdown over Phil leaving, saying that's it for Xbox in the video games industry. She was in panic mode. I haven't seen her video on it or if she posted like a tweet about it, but I'll check it out. I like Alana stuff. And if I was trying to drag her, I mean, come on, man. Let me get our prototype story up. Dave, I know you're still there, bro. I got you covered. Don't you worry, Dave. 1,500 you here. Thanks, guys, for sitting down and hanging out. A lot of good Xbox chat here. AI is not bad, but was handled badly. Yes. Doomwalker, as always, with the very clear-cut take. Let's see here. So for those who are wondering when I'm clicking around, I guess for those who are new, who are wondering when I'm like clicking around in between subjects, what I'm doing, we have a Google document that I make that has all the hyperlinks to all the gameplay I want to show, like timestamped links. I have all of the articles linked, key comments and quotes linked. I have all of my things I want to make sure I mention like here as well. So it takes me a little bit to bring it all up. So I appreciate the patience because sometimes it could go quicker, but it's basically the step before I would make a whole video anyway. My God, get out of here. These pop-ups are crazy. It's usually the step though I take before like making a video. So it's just getting all these links up. And then normally I'd like screenshot them all and whatnot, but I appreciate everyone's patience. Okay. There we go. Dave's in chat still. Good. Dave Wonder is about to have the time of his life. I hope Prototype doesn't turn into bro no hype. Look, all they have to do to make Prototype great is just to embrace that early, angsty, like early 2000s edge. Like, people always make fun of Alex Mercer, but I'm like, dude, stop it. Just fucking knock it off. This guy with his hood up, you know, like, hold on. Come on now. Come on now. Come on now. Where is it? Like, dude, we're basically the same person. Like, come on now. But for real, like, that's the energy this game carries. You know? I feel like they got to embrace that. If they try to make it for like more of a modern audience, more accessible, more thought-provoking, mistake. Pour one out for Mouse PI for Hire, releasing the same day as Crimson Desert and Death Stranding 2 PC port. It got delayed to April. So I think it's more safe now. A lot of games have moved to April now. I think we just saw Replace delay to April. I think a lot of companies just realized, like, hey, there's all this space over here. We don't really need to come out in March. But yeah, I think everyone's avoiding Crimson Desert, rightfully so, because if that game hits, I think there's still a lot of question marks around it for people. But if the game hits, I mean, I think there's previews coming out this week. Anyway, if the game hits, I mean, it's gonna take over. You know, so it's good to get out of the way, especially if you're like a Mouse PI for Hire or you're a Replace. Like, you'll find your place in the market, but like, you know, you gotta find the space for it too. Yeah, Plasma Snake. April is also Pragmata, correct? Which I personally am very excited for. That's one of my most anticipated games of the year. Capcom's got me in a stranglehold. Like, for me, dude, Requiem was the game I played like 7 games to prepare for. I'm excited for Pragmata. I think Onimusha looks really good with its kind of environmental interactivity. Like, I'm a Capcom head, bro. You're not going to find a bigger fan than me right now. Only PC codes makes me skeptical. I didn't know that, Smooth Jazz. Yeah, that does make me a little worried that they're hiding the console version. We'll see. I didn't get invited, so I tried to get into contact with their head of PR and set up an interview and see if I can just get connected, because I've been covering a lot and the videos have been doing really well. I got forwarded to a PR agency, and then I was told there was no more interviews being done, and I was not really connected with the individual I was trying to reach out with. And so, yeah, I'm just with all of you guys on Crimson Desert. We're just kind of hanging out on the outside, waiting to see those previews drop. And I'm eager to see what people think, because we'll talk about it, no doubt. See what news kind of drops from it. I didn't get blacklisted. No, I wouldn't call it blacklisted, Akimbo. Yeah, it's just kind of like how it goes sometimes. Sometimes you just reach out too late or whatever. It's like, I've said this before, but it's fine. Like, I don't really care at the end of the day. Like, I'm just like, I'm all business, so it's just me trying to do my job. You know, a lot of these companies do get in the way of that, no doubt, but like, I can only imagine how many requests they get. So, you know, it is what it is. And frankly, like, I feel very confident with my audience that y'all show up anyway. So whether they give me access or not, I'm like, okay, you know, but it's been tough lately. I talked about this, I think last stream. It's been tough lately, but, you know, it is what it is. I had basically a decision when I was going into the Matty Slop push. I could have done one of two things. I could have opened up a website or done what I'm doing now. My thought process behind the website was that I know for a fact that if you are not labeled as press, you're immediately dropped in the influencer bucket. Very few companies distinguish between content creators and influencers. What that means is they look at you as a day and date guy. So no matter how popular my reviews are, how critical they are, if I'm not considered press, I don't get that special treatment that kind of puts you into a category of early access, hands-on previews, that sort of stuff. And so I've been told by like it goes back to even talking to Carrick, like, you know, if you have a place where your reviews live in a written format or a website, you are considered press, and that'll get you into more opportunities. You can call me stubborn for this one. Number one, I also have a lot of money sunk into my game. I don't want to run a website on top of that, but also, like, dude, fuck that. Like, that is so fucking old school thinking. I'll wait for you guys to catch up. That's how I think about it. I'll miss out on the review codes. I'll wait for everyone to catch up, because I think a lot of companies do, like Xbox is a great example. Xbox is a great company in understanding content creators. They do really good by people like me. Bethesda's another one. Warhorse is great. Like there are a lot of companies out there that get it. So I'm not going to move my whole business around for the people who don't. I'll wait for them to come around, or if they never do, that's fine. I'll cover their games as a fan whenever I get my hands on them. It's, but that's how it goes. So I had that kind of fork in the road moment, and I was just like, you know what? I want to hang with my audience more. I want to do more like live news things and like connect and build. I care more about that. Who the fuck cares about a website? Those are going away. So yeah, like it was just kind of like a trust your audience or don't thing. And I'm glad I went with my gut. It's been the perfect call so far. You guys have been super supportive, not only the streams, but the Matty Slop channel has been doing incredible. Like we're already about to hit like 20K subs, and Emmett and I are really stoked. And it's kind of like going to be a game changer in a couple of months when it's really established and we're rolling. Like for example, I was thinking about like content we could put out there outside of the streams, and like I think I'm going to just put my Switch 2 impressions of Fallout 4 there. Like it's not like a main channel thing. It's not really a Retro Rebound thing. So it just goes over to the Slop channel. Like fuck it, let's just talk about it, see how it goes, give some thoughts. It doesn't have to be over edited, kind of like the video we did for Blue Point, and it seems to work really well. So I'm glad I went with that, right? Like just good call. Good call. I'm going to give myself a little pat on the back for that one. I somewhat know what I'm doing in this space. But yeah, the streams have been fun, man. Like it's just cool to hang out with y'all. And so I value that connection more. Not to make it this whole like laze fest here, but I do value the connection more. To me, it's like, I think of it this way. I've seen a lot of creators and non-creators fucking sell their soul to get access. And again, call me prideful, call me stubborn. I'm just a terrible kiss ass though. Like I just can't fucking do it, dude. Like I gotta be honest. Like I feel some type of way when I see people like clearly schmoozing for ops. I'm like, yeah, call me old school. I like when they make the first move. Aaron asked me, do you think Crimson Desert will be native 4K on PS5 Pro with the PS5 Pro update? You'd hope so. I think I'd care more about frame rate for that game though. I'm a little bit more on that. Live streams are more entertaining. Thank you, True Dark Thief. I appreciate it. Yeah, Mickey, we're actually going to talk about Daniel Vavra making a Kingdom Come Deliverance movie soon. I've made Dave wait long enough, y'all. Let's get into, I'm sure this guy's chomping at the bit. Let's talk a little bit about what's going on with Prototype. This will be fun. But first I want to answer this question. Uncharted Wolf. Yeah, that's an interesting one. Random, but when was the last time you played Marvel Rivals? It's been a good, like, when? I bet my Steam profile. Let me check. I think I still have it installed. Actually, no, probably not, because I got a new computer. Wait, really? Dude, what? I thought that confused, that tripped me out. So right now it says last played February 27th, 2025. And I was like, oh, I played it like a couple of days ago. I'm like, oh, it's the end of February. Like, so I'm in the ballpark right now. No, dude, it's been a year. Wow. Yeah. Last time I played it, I had so much fun. There's been a ton of updates, but yeah, dude, fuck it. Like, I got to get back. I really love that game. Put like 70, 80 hours into it. Like, good time. All right, let's get into our next story here. Ladies and gentlemen, for those who don't know, all right, it's this game right here that defined, what grade was I in when this came out? This is a 2009 game. So this was like entering high school for me. I was a middle schooler. And there was a war going on in those streets, y'all. Before we had YouTube videos, we had magazines. And the magazines were always sizing up Infamous versus Prototype. You had to pick a side. Now, June happens to be my birthday month. And so this came out in June, as did another game here on my 360 shelf, which was... I lied. It's not on my 360 shelf. Where's my copy of Red Faction Guerrilla? Anyway, hold on, wait, I know where it is. Hang on. You think I don't got the remaster? Okay, so June 2009 was a great month to be me. I was fresh new Xbox 360 owner, and I got Red Faction Guerrilla, not the remastered one, crazy name, but I also had Prototype. I was the Prototype guy at launch. Now, a lot of us have been wondering, will Prototype ever come back? Well, it seems like there could be a route. First, some fun news, and then kind of leading into the Prototype remake, remaster rumors. Let's get it started here. You might be wondering who made this absolutely delicious video game here, and that was Radical Games. Well, they've been gone for a while, and now they're back. And I really didn't expect this at all, but they're called New Radical Games, and you'll see in their game section, right down here, Simpsons Hit and Run, Hulk Ultimate Destruction, Scarface The World Is Yours, Prototype, get back here, Crash Team Racing, Crash Mind Over Matter, Crash of the Titans. Like, Radical Games was a huge staple of a lot of our childhoods. There's no doubt one of those games there you recognized, you played, right? I have to shamelessly admit, your boy has not played Simpsons Hit and Run yet, so don't count on me for a take on that. But what is New Radical Games here? Well, they say handcrafted games built by a crew of industry veterans. They started off as Radical Entertainment, then there was Hothead, and together they come into New Radical Games. He said it all started with Radical Entertainment back in 1991. Fast forward to 2025, and we have amassed invaluable experience along the way. We know how to capture the essence of world-class intellectual properties and deliver licensed games that delight fans everywhere. Join as we continue to evolve and inspire. So they're looking to make more licensed games, and dude, I remember the era of the early 2000s where licensed games, like, again, Simpsons Hit and Run is a great example of that, where it's just like, why is this, for a lot of people, so good? Like, I mean, I grew up on some bad licensed games. You know, I think of some of the superhero games I got, but then every now and again, you get an X-Men Origins Wolverine and you go, why did this cook so hard here? Here you have some of the leadership behind New Radical Games. It's Ian Wilkinson as CEO. He co-founded Radical Entertainment as Canada's largest independent game company in 1991. He sold them to Vivendi in 2006 and retired in 2008. Ian joined Hothead the following year, steering the company toward record profitability and honing the company vision in the mobile game space. Ian sat on the advisory board of the BC Institute of Technology, BC Advanced Systems Institute, and was chair of New Media BC. He is a winner of the Ernst & Young's Entrepreneur of the Year Award and graduate of the Ivy Business School at Western University. So yeah, Ian knows how to make the green. Then we have Tim Benison, COO. He recently served as COO at Capcom Game Studio Vancouver. He was also COO of Generate, creating visual effects for feature films like Marvel, Disney, and Warner. He's worked many years with Ian Wilkinson at Radical Entertainment as executive producer and VP of technology, building games such as Hulk Ultimate Destruction and Prototype. Oh, he holds a BSc in computer science from the University of Toronto and I actually never heard this before. Someone educate me. Math? Is that a typo? I'm gonna show my stupidity here. Anyway, in computer graphics from the University of Waterloo. Tim is an experienced watercolor painter and a signature member of the Federation of Canadian Artists. He joined Hothead as COO in 2020. So basically what you have here is, again, the merging of Radical Entertainment and Hothead to make New Radical Games. You scroll down their website, they're offering all different services, work for hire on full game development, mobile and console, code development, porting, and strangely, there's Prototype right there, remastering games. So they're kind of offering all of the services. So they have a great portfolio here. Again, let's kind of go down the hits for a moment here. You've got Simpsons Hit and Run here, which was this kind of like Crazy Taxi GTA-like video game that so many people loved, and it's one that I've wanted to play for a while. I watched a big retrospective on it, and there are some elements, especially toward the end of the game, that I feel would bother someone like me. But yeah, this game was absolutely nuts, and I think it would go hard as just a remaster because the art style would age gracefully, given it's kind of that cell-shaded style, as you can see here, very low poly as well. So I think this is one, no doubt, that they'll be flirting with to bring back. On top of that, we get into some of my favorites growing up. One of them is right here. I just did a retrospective of it. You can see it. This is from my Retro Rebound video. This is Hulk Ultimate Destruction, and this is basically the bones for what would make Prototype. But like, we need more Hulk games like this where everything is a weapon. You're throwing trees. I'm beating up mechs. I'm air dashing. Look at this. I'm uppercutting. The camera in this game was terrible, I'll be honest. There are some flaws with it. He's getting pounded in the ground. The destruction in this game is wild. And obviously with modern technology, Wow, I'm getting mixed here in this gameplay. I'm not putting up a good show. I'm getting completely mixed. But yeah, as you can see, this is a awesome video game and is one of those few examples of like a licensed game that went really well. They were responsible for things like Crash Team Racing. So you had like the Crash Bandicoot style gameplay. And then if we skip a little bit ahead in this video here, you've got the racing. This is not to be mixed up with the Crash Tag Racing that was remade. That was the 1999 game, I believe it was. That's not this here. This is a little bit different though. But they were responsible for a lot of Crash games too. So they worked on a lot of other people's IP, and I do miss these types of studios that just were basically stewards of other folks' IP. Before we get fully into Prototype, I'd also like to just bring your attention to one of their unreleased games. It was a prototype that was on the Wii. Many of you are like me and you love a good Spider-Man game. This was Spider-Man 4 when they were working on the Raimi Spider-Man 4 video game alongside the movie. And you can see here, they kind of like white boxed all the levels. You can also see some of the marking in engine for how the movement would be, how you could attach to things like the helicopter. And then you can actually see some of the combat here. So yeah, this leak, there was like a playable build that, again, it was a full-on open world Spider-Man game that would have been by Radical Entertainment. Unfortunately, this got canceled and we never really got a Spider-Man 4. So that was a bit of a disappointment. But now we get into the fun one here. Let's talk about one of the early 2000s greatest in Prototype. So you'll see as Alex Mercer's getting around the environment here, this might be familiar from what I showed you with the Hulk Ultimate Destruction gameplay. And that's because all of the bones that were used from that game were used to build this, except Alex Mercer is much more nimble. He gets around cleaner. It's much more polished. It feels better. You can see like the animation where as he starts running sideways, he puts his hand out, and he would be defined by 4 forms. I remember there was a sword form. There was like a hammer fist form. There was a shield form. There was a full armor form. That was really cool. And as you upgrade his powers by absorbing other people, because you are the prototype, you would just get some crazy abilities. You could literally skateboard on people's faces. You could use the tank, like you could grab it by its like barrel and swing it around as a weapon. You could be a complete force of evil. I also love that Alex Mercer is a straight up villain here. Furthermore, this game is very gory, which I thought as a kid was awesome. And like you just deliver some absolute haymakers, some bombs here. I thought that was cool. You could kill civilians even. There was just no limits. I thought this game was so much fun, and it would get a sequel, and I think the sequel is a bit underrated. So that's Prototype. Now with New Radical back, it does open up these thoughts of like, what other IP could they interact with? Could they bring back? Keep in mind, this was as you can see right here, this was an Activision published video game. So it's not like the IP is free from hell because Radical is back, but this is one of the games they worked on, and they're looking to seemingly champion that spirit. Well, it's funny because at the same time here, we have this report from IGN, which came out last October, saying Prototype Remaster may be on the way after credits were quietly added to the new Steam version. Let's read the whole article here because there's a lot of detail. Fans think they've uncovered proof of the 2009 action game Prototype, and it could be getting a new lease on life. While the game has mostly remained dormant on Steam over the last 16 years, eagle-eyed fans spotted a flurry of updates behind the scenes via SteamDB, as well as data mining effort that has discovered a mysterious change to the game's credits that adds in a remaster studio in Iron Galaxy and a curious reference to Ubisoft Connect. That's not all, though. One of the OG modders for the game data mined the recent update and has found a lot of interesting things, Stanley Mitchell explained on the game's subreddit. For Prototype 1, they have added some test maps and quite a few names in the credits. There may be hope for a remaster after all. You'll see here, this was posted on the Prototype game subreddit, and it gained some traction here. They said, Iron Galaxy, one of the new studios in the credits, worked on the Spyro remasters, is 100% confirmed. They're remastering the games, likely using the same engine and code, some hybrid like Oblivion. That was one of the big complaints when people were trying to detract from Prototype. How dare they? They talked about the colors. Oh, it's so much brown and gray. Oh, it's ugly. It doesn't look good. Man, shut up. Stop it. I'm tired of hearing how these games back then were ugly. I get it, though. I was one of the people clamoring for color. But, man, I don't think the game was super ugly. But could it look better nowadays? Absolutely. Continuing on with some of the Reddit findings here, we see more comments like there's a lot of new names in the credits. And so we start to dive into some pictures. I think the sound changes when climbing the wall. And you can see here there's different sounds for climbing masonry glass, wood, dirt, and so on. It's definitely a locomotion test. So people are data mining this stuff. This was definitely not Alpha Manhattan, but some parkour test. So what's going on here? All these new additions into Prototype make you wonder. Flesh is another one. Make you wonder if they're working on the back end here to remaster it. This would not surprise me because in all of this, we've seen a lot of movement behind the scenes on Activision games. Let me give you some examples here. First and foremost is from Kit Guru. Transformers Fall of Cybertron is relisted on Steam, though it's not yet purchasable. This was in 2025. It says, in the wake of the acquisition of Activision Blizzard, the console maker has spoken on bringing back many of the publisher's legacy games. Following reports that Microsoft was working on bringing some of the Activision Transformers titles back from the dead, the much-loved Transformers Fall of Cybertron has been relisted on Steam. Back during the Xbox or Microsoft Activision talks, a Hasbro spokesperson expressed their desire for potential owners to revive many of Activision's legacy titles. In the years since the deal went through, there have been plenty of rumors surrounding various old Activision IP, including a report claiming that Transformers War for Cybertron and Fall for Cybertron re-releases were being worked on. A lot of people have thought that Xbox will just greenlight their back compat program. I think they're just going to sell you these games again. But they're so good and they're so inaccessible. And in some cases, like Fall of Cybertron is like $50+. At least when I bought it. It may have gone up in price, but when I bought it, it was like a $60 game almost. That's a lot of money for an old game. So I'm sure just like Nintendo is selling you Fire Red and Leaf Green, Xbox is starting to realize like, hey, people are going to buy these anyway. Why not sell them? Okay, so let's continue on a little bit more here. There's other Activision IP that have had some movement. One, which I got caught up in the middle of a little bit here, was Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Out of the Shadow. So you'll see here in 2023, Wario64 said that this was available on Steam for $14.99, and then it was delisted. Maybe it wasn't supposed to be relisted here. And then it says it was delisted again. I bought this, and Valve then messaged me, and like anyone else who purchased it, and said like, hey, we've revoked access from this for your account. And it's not one of those things that you can really let slide through because we are talking about a game that is from a licensed IP. So it's not like Activision can whoopsie it and just like there's no legal ramifications. There's probably people who need to get paid, like maybe a Paramount now, if TMNT Out of the Shadows came back. But that's now 3 different Activision games that we're seeing having some sort of movement, getting relisted and taken down. I don't believe in the coincidence that these switches keep getting flipped and nothing's happening with any of these games. And let's add a 4th to the mix here if you want to believe this report. This is from Insider Gaming. It's August 19th, 2024. They say a new rumor claims that Microsoft is trying to relicense Deadpool and Marvel Ultimate Alliance. In the latest episode of the Xbox Era podcast, now known as Day One, by the way, Special Nick revealed some details about Deadpool and Marvel Ultimate Alliance. According to rumors, Nick claims that Xbox is trying to work through the process of getting the Xbox One ports of Deadpool and Marvel Ultimate Alliance relicensed for PC and Xbox Series X and S consoles. So yeah, when Xbox abandoned backwards compatibility, they kind of said they'd done all they could. Now, there's potentially a room here for basically what Activision did at one point. They made like a PS4 and PC port of Ultimate Alliance, and they did not do a lot of work on these games at all. Like, I remember the dialogue portraits for those games looking really awful. But there is room to just bring those ports that already exist back. Like, Deadpool is also an expensive PS4 game. You can only get that physically. So these games being relicensed on digital storefronts, I think makes a lot of sense. But you're seeing the rumors build up. Prototype, Transformers, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, like these all get like listings or movement on the back end here. It is Xbox's 25th anniversary. Do they do something involving some sort of back compat or releasing ports? I'm dreaming a little big here. Again, I think they're going to sell these to you individually, but do I think something's happening with Prototype when suddenly Iron Galaxy is in the mix, when suddenly we see studios messing around, credits being changed? That indicates to me that something's happening. So it's a matter, at least in my brain, of when and not if. And I'm excited for that, man, because again, I love this game. I love this series. I don't know what it's going to lead to. I don't know if they're just going to remake it and call it there. I don't know if they're going to say, hey, we're testing the grounds for Prototype 3. But I think the answer is mighty tantalizing. I'm glad they're just like, why not, right? And hey, you know what? At the end of the day, did Prototype win the war? We're going to get a Prototype remaster before an Infamous one. That's very possible. And I'm very excited about that. So that's what's going on the Activision front, and I hope it leads to a prototype remake or remaster, whatever it may be. But I'm pumped either way. Love to see this news. Dave, are you satisfied? How are you feeling, Dave? Man, what an exciting time if that does come back. Great era of video games, man. Just like crazy shit happening. As a kid, Prototype 2 was the first game I ever played, or I ever 100%ed. Love that game. Never played the first, though. Is 1 or 2 better? I think 1 is better, personally. You know? And honestly, now that you know what happens in 2 story-wise, and you 100%ed it, which means you did the Web of Intrigue, you'd love the first one. I don't think the second one really had any, like... I'm trying to remember. I don't think the second one had any, like, massive improvements. You know? Not that I can recall. I hear the Steam version's hard to play nowadays. Yeah, Darth Raven. Like, it's just... These games need to, like... we need to be able to access these parts of our library. Oh, Jay, absolutely. I'm picking up Wolverine on September 15th. Gilly Goose super chat and asked, would I invest in Xbox anymore? If you're talking about as a fan, like, yeah, I'm invested, like 100%. But if you're talking like monetarily, are we like talking stock options here? I have no feedback on that. I don't do stocks. I don't see Dave. Oh, there's Dave. Honestly, man, it's really exciting just to know there's a chance for a comeback. There we go. I was looking for Dave. in the chat. Good to see you, man. All right. Yeah, I mean, I think it's cool as fuck that like they're even talking about it, you know, because like, I was defending these games. I bought both Prototype 1 and 2 on release. I love the spirit of the series. I kind of love what they did with their main character. I don't want to spoil it in case no one's played it, but yeah, like I just love what they did with the main character. And I think a remake would be interesting because, like, what do you do? Like, visually, I'm sure you mess with the camera for exploration was good. The lock-on camera in combat wasn't great because it carried over the same problems as Hulk Ultimate Destruction, although it was less egregious. But I think they could push a lot with that game, you know, beyond just making it look good. The Web of Intrigue was so cool, by the way. Like, you would just, like, the flashbacks and memories you'd get, they were so confusing. Like, I guess they could smooth out the story and make it a little bit more easy to digest and process and understand, that sort of thing. That would be cool. Death Proof, you are remembering correctly. I just don't want to spoil it for anyone else, but I'll answer you. DeMarco, good to see you, brother. Hulk Ultimate Destruction, one of my all-time favorites. I really want that to come back. Never played Prototype. If you like Hulk Ultimate Destruction, then look out for Prototype. It's got like the same gameplay bones, like completely. Like it's got the same movement systems, the same destructibility, the same like you're a walking tank. Like it's got all of that, dude. So yeah, if you really like Hulk Ultimate Destruction that much, it's got that without the friction. Like Hulk Ultimate Destruction has some really stupid difficulty spikes with some of its final fights, and it kind of embraces the cheese a little bit more. But like Prototype, because you're playing as Alex Mercer and he's more of a nimble human. Again, like one of my favorite moves is like you can grab someone, and if you're sprinting while you're grabbing them and you jump and I think press the special attack button, you'll literally put their face onto the ground and literally glide on them like a surfboard. It's fucking crazy. It's messed up, and there's like blood flying out. Yeah, if you like over-the-top violence in video games like I do, plus like that kind of destructibility of Hulk, you'll enjoy this. He's very much a dude bro protagonist, like Death Proof said, but like I kind of dig that about him. Oh, he's downloading Prototype right now. He's okay. There we go. Good. Yeah, man, enjoy. Like I don't want to oversell the story or anything, but you'll have fun with the gameplay, no doubt, if you liked Hulk. You know, Prototype's a good time. Like, yeah, oh, Arcane, you said you argue with DeMarco over this. Yeah, like I think that I just think the balancing from what at least I have Hulk Ultimate Destruction in my head. I did a full playthrough of that game just top of last year. Like I have it fresh in mind where again, I feel very confident in saying like the in counterbalancing, like Hulk Ultimate Destruction will have like 40 Apache choppers after you. They'll shoot rockets at you. They'll knock you down constantly. Like it can get frustrating by the end of the game. Like I think a lot of people forget that part. It gets very frustrating by the end. I don't think Prototype has that. I think Prototype lets you like get to that power fantasy and it feels really good. Hi, Alex. Good to see you. Thank you for the love, man. Appreciate that. Hulk would be a great remaster candidate. Like if I think Radical is going to bring anything back, I think Hulk Ultimate Destruction Remaster is another easy one. That art style looks great. Like you saw in my Retro Rebound video I was showing you, like that gameplay looks still pretty sharp from a visual point of view. Like much like Prototype, like the buildings look like shit, but like who cares, dude? You're literally sprinting by them, smashing them. Like they shouldn't be high detail. I'm old, Maddie. I was your age when it came out. Oh, Death. Okay. I mean this with all like, I'm not trying to be insulting to the age, but that makes sense. Like for me as a kid growing up, I was like, oh, this is cool. But I get it. If like you're a full grown adult and you're watching Alex Mercer with the hood and stuff, you're probably like, what's this corny ass shit? I get it. All right. We're kind of zooming through these stories here. How comparable are the OG God of Wars and Prototype? Josh, I don't think they're very comparable at all. There was that tweet that went viral that called God of War a hack and slash, and it fucking pissed me off because I was like, what? And people agreed, like 70,000 likes. And I was like, what? This to me in my brain quantifies more as a hack and slash because you really don't lock on anyone. Like when you get that sword blade on your hand, you just hack through people constantly. There's like stealth missions because basically as the Prototype, you can smush people into the ground and then like absorb them and turn into them so you can disguise yourself into enemy bases. So it's got more like stealth and it's got really mindfucky storytelling with its web of intrigue. Like you'll find targets all over the map and you'll absorb them and absorb their memories. And so it's really cool. But it's not like God of War in my opinion. Dave Wonder with the $20 super chat, the man behind the Prototype. What a guy. Thank you, dude. I appreciate this. Here's my pitch for Prototype 3. Turns out only Heller killed a clone of Mercer. He made himself to make him stronger to fight a bigger threat. You play as Alex/Heller, separate campaigns for each of them. Oh, look at this guy cooking. Yeah, this is a favorite series for Dave. You can tell, bro, like the fact that he's got intimate lore knowledge and he's like, hang on, I got the plot twist and everything. Man, New Radical, hire Dave. Get Dave in the building. Dave, I appreciate you, dude. You've been a presence today. Just order a Prototype for $5 at Lukey Games. There we go, G-Man. Yeah, cool. Like, get it for cheap, man. Like, great game. Really great game. Maddie, God of War is hack and slash, bro. I'm sorry. Okay, yeah, like if we're talking hack and slash, like you have a weak attack and a light attack, sure. But like when it was in a context of, sorry, I should have given context to the tweet. The tweet was like, guys, it's not called a God of War clone. It's called a hack and slash. I'm like, dude, you don't know what you're talking about. God of War clone is a thing. Do I have Darksiders in my collection? I don't think I do. Darksiders, Dante's Inferno, I do have in my collection. Where are you at? Like this, God of War clone. This is not a hack and slash. It's God of War clone. It's its own thing. Just like we suddenly started calling things Souls-likes or Metroidvanias. God of War clone is a thing. Hell yeah, Dave. Favorite game. I love that, dude. That's cool. I've never heard anyone say it's their favorite game. That's sick. All right, what was our next story here? Oh, Kingdom Come Deliverance. Right. This is a really interesting one, man. They're all interesting. Why do I always open with that? They're all interesting. I am the most interesting man in the world, after all. I kid. Drawn out. The fucking legend is here, dude. Again, honored by your presence. I was referencing you earlier. Xbox news today. Yeah, we got let me hook you up here. Hold on. I got the links. Where is it? Asha. Yeah, so this was the main one here drawn out. Got you, bro. Basically Asha has sworn in. That's what happened today. She was sworn in. As you can see, no real mention or sight to be had of Sarah Bond following all the reporting around her. So, yeah. That was like the main breakout from today. Nothing crazy. Otherwise, actually, the other thing I got for you, drawn out. Hang on, where are you at? She did reply to people saying she was like faking her account, faking playing video games. And so she said, I agree, faking would be a terrible idea. I didn't expect my gamer tag to blow up. Created to learn and understand the world. My family's been using it across a shared account. I don't pretend to be the best gamer, even though I'm playing. That's not my goal. My focus is to make Xbox the best place to play, return to our roots, ship great things, and become stronger for the future. And yes, I'm writing my own posts. So there you have it. Yeah, no Sarah. Asha taking over. I feel bad for Sarah. Still feel bad for her. Someone will get Sarah on an interview. I would offer. She does follow me on Twitter. I would offer, but I doubt she'd talk to me. I called for her job. I'm not stupid. Like, I'm not going to be like, hey, so I know I said that you, Phil, and Matt should all go, but do you want to come on the channel and like drop some exclusive info and just like spill the tea? Do you want to do that? It's like, she's probably like, fuck off. No. I'll be curious to see where Phil and Sarah end up. I'm curious if Phil's actually retiring, or if he's going to get back into gaming, or is he going to do what Sean Layden did and like, advise. I'm sure like in his retirement clause or something like that, I'm sure there's a level of like, because he has so much knowledge of Xbox, like could he just go over to PlayStation right away? Would that even be allowed? Oh, good, John. I'm happy to help you, man. Yeah, if you ever need anything, just let me know. I think I follow you on, I follow you on Twitter. So yeah, feel free to shoot me a DM if you ever need help with research or whatever. I'd love if Phil went to PlayStation. I'd love it just for the idea of like, it would say so much about where Xbox is going that Phil goes, I'm going to the competitor. I'm good, bro. Call the series T with Matt T. Damn, I kind of like that, H-Mon. I kind of like to play on spilling the tea. Yeah. Yeah, I kind of dig that. That's an interesting one. Just imagine that, like if I had all this money to like get these interviews in person, like, we sit down, we're having a cup of tea and spilling the tea. It's a fun idea. You can dream a little bit. New channel on the way. There you go. That's my fourth one. Matt T, or I just spill tea. All right. Let's get into our fourth story today. Like I said, I might push for a fifth. I don't know. I'm feeling fucking crazy right now. Might just do some fucking crazy shit and rip a fifth story. It's like, what? We got a ton of you here right now. We're at 1,500 people. This is the most we've had at like once in a while. So this is sick. Like, let's just keep going. Also, and honestly, I'm just gonna be real. Like, after shoveling for like 2 hours straight, it just feels good to be sitting on my ass. Like, I don't want to get up. I don't want to get up. I'm feeling a little lazy, feeling a little self-indulgent right now. All right, let's talk about this next story here, though. Because as always, the angle is mighty interesting. So, hang on. I had to burp. There it is. I'm a burpy dude. No, one thing you may have realized, I like burp before every story. My editors probably know this. I'll be like mid-recording. I'll be like, bruh. I'm a burpy dude. I don't know how to stop that. Is it because, I think it's because I'm talking, I'm constantly going, my body's like, dude, I got to burp. I think that's what happens. I don't know. Anyway, I'm off track now. Let's do this. So, one of my favorite games of last year would have easily been my game of the year if not for Expedition 33. And there's some days I'm like, I think Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 gets the edge. Just that Bethesda-like experience in all the ways I've dreamt of. Choice and consequence. Player agency at the forefront, an incredible main narrative, the way it's shot, the commitment to quality, the excellent characters, the gameplay that allows you to eventually become great at everything, but starts you off in a hardcore place where you're not great at everything. You got to learn all those skills. It's commitment to realism. There's so many reasons to love Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, especially if you like the Bethesda RPG experience, like I said. But that's also because of the mind behind it. You see, there are particular visionaries in our industry that commit to a particular style of game and deliver it exceedingly well. Today, we're talking about Daniel Vavra, who is one of my favorite developers in the games industry. He is the director of Kingdom Come Deliverance 1 and 2, but before that, he was the director of Mafia. One of the defining qualities of Mafia that made it stand out next to GTA wasn't just its time period, but rather that you had to abide by the law. So if you started to speed, the cops would go after you. If you ran a red light, the cops would notice that as well. Kingdom Come Deliverance commits itself to the same level of realism, right? Where you have to eat, sleep, drink, and there are all these different parts and things you have to manage as you go around its vast open world. You can't just fast travel simply. You have to worry about, like, if you go out during nighttime, you might get jumped. There might be bandits waiting for you. That sort of stuff plays a factor into why Kingdom Come Deliverance is so good. It's not just an open world RPG in the Bethesda style design. It's got that commitment to realism. So after playing Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 and really understanding where this company is going with this story, I cannot wait for KCD 3. And I'm still very excited for it, but this is a little bit of a blow. I got to be honest with you all. He's still a warhorse, but we learned here through this article at VGC that Daniel Vavra is stepping away from game development. He instead will helm the efforts to produce a Kingdom Come movie. We're going to read the comments. We're going to get into Daniel's recent history as well and what may have led him to this point. And I actually understand it. It's really like, oh man, I'm rooting for him, but it's also disappointing. But when we get into like health and whatnot, I think it'll start to break down why he is going after this kind of crazy dream here. So let's read the article. The director behind Kingdom Come Deliverance games, Daniel Vavra, is stepping away from the game development. Developer Warhorse Studios has announced. Instead, the outspoken writer and game designer will take on a new role, spearheading a Kingdom Come movie project, the company confirmed to the Czech press on Tuesday. Quote, Dan has a new role. That's the creation of the Kingdom Come movie. Studio boss Martin, I'm going to just be respectful and not try to pronounce that, told Czech Crunch, machine translated, quote, I'm sure people will wonder if this is some kind of breakup with Warhorse, he added. No, on the contrary, Dan himself wanted to move on. He made 3 games that were a global success, and he was wanting to try something different for a long time. Getting Kingdom Come to the screen or the screen in the next few years is another milestone that we want to achieve, and that's Dan's new role. You won't see him in the office every day anymore, but in a broader sense, he is still part of Warhorse. The studio said he has a draft script already written for Kingdom Come's movie, and negotiations are underway with production firms, the boss claimed. So yeah, like, he chose to leave. He wasn't ousted, and certainly after the success that was Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 from a critic point of view, user point of view, sales, we learned 5 million plus sales. The franchise itself is 10 plus million sales. So it's in a great spot, and certainly based on the leaders that Warhorse has now, I'm not fully concerned, but like, this is that type of mind that I talk about when we mention some of our luminaries in gaming. Your Todd Howards, your Vince Zampellas, the list goes on, Hideo Kojima, Ken Levine. I do put Daniel Vavra in that category personally. I know people complain and bitch and moan about his political takes and how he gets spicy on Twitter. Who gives a fuck, man? He makes incredible video games. And for me, him not being involved, even if Warhorse has incredible talent, I wouldn't say this spells doom or concern for KCD 3. It's just a significant loss, though. It is that kind of, oh man, that sucks for the game. Let's continue on, though, because we'll get into why it may be this way. Quote, anyone who's played Kingdom Come or even Mafia knows Dan's handwriting and can expect a strong story again. We would have been blind if we didn't realize how much our brand has grown. In fact, Dan Vavra's new position could be called Transmedia Director. In any case, we see the film as a complement to our game creation, which could be extremely successful in its own right. Some people have started to worry that Kingdom Come Deliverance 3 will be told in a movie because there have been rumors that after Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, Warhorse is going to something new and then coming back to KCD 3, because I won't spoil KCD 2 at all for anyone, but I think there will be a passage of time that gets us into 3. Also, 2 leaves us in a spot where history has more to say. No doubt about it. Like, there is a fight that has to happen and some tough choices that need to be made. But again, time needs to pass for that sort of stuff. So I could see Warhorse deviating a little bit into a new project, but KCD 3 is that kind of the idea. Like, Daniel Vavra does not need to be involved in this new project, and he'll come back for KCD 3 after the movie. maybe they don't want to announce their plans too far in advance, but that was one of the points of speculation I had. The other point did come down to Daniel Vavra as a human being. It's the kind of element that none of us really balance in our head. And again, I want to stick with what we have here from VGC. They write, Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 director wants AI to help him make more games before he dies. So this is one of the reasons why in all the articles is like controversial director, spicy director. He is pro AI. It's the only thing I'm not fully in agreement with him on, although I understand where he's coming from, and I think he argues his points well enough. I just don't, again, really align with him. But the article says, Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 director Daniel Vavra has said he hopes AI speeds up the process of making games because he has more ideas than I have time. Vavra directed both Kingdom Come Deliverance games with 2025 sequel releasing to widespread acclaim earlier this year. Now Vavra has said he has the pressure of making the game because caused him some of the health issues and made him reflect on how many more games he'll be able to make in his career. He said, I had some serious health issues from all the stress. I really need to slow down a bit. Vavra went on to say he hopes AI will be a tool to assist in speeding up game development rather than replacing staff. Quote, it really annoys me that the games take so much time because I have more ideas than I have time. There are a couple of projects that I would love to do, and I would love to prepare them properly so it's not as chaotic. I hope the AI revolution will help this, where in the future, we will not be replaced by AI, but we will be helped by AI. So a lot of things could be easier and faster. And yeah, Daniel is one of the guys who's like, you can't get rid of AI completely. It's here to stay. And I do agree with that. So that's why he's looking at it as a tool that we can use that can help us. He says, it'd be great if this would happen. I would have a couple of big ideas that I would like to make that will require a lot of time and preparation. A couple of projects that, in my opinion, have as big of potential as Kingdom Come Deliverance. And this is like I don't want to speak like I'm Dan Vavra. This guy is way more accomplished than I'll ever be, but this is a problem a lot of game developers have, storytellers have especially, is your brain is like this spider web, and you start with like one idea and you start to feel that process and know what it's like to like build a world, and then everything has the potential to become a world, become an idea, become a story. And especially when you're surrounded by so much tragedy in the real world, it's just compost for great storytelling. As sad as the world is now, you're just constantly thinking of like, what's the message I want to send? What do I want to say? What do I want to have people walk away from? What do I want to have people potentially unintentionally walk away from with all of this? Like, what could they derive from this message that has so many different meanings? That's sort of the problem we run into. But you see here that Vavra has been, as recently as April 22nd, 2025, Dan Vavra is looking at his time a little bit differently. He's like, hey, working on this game made me sick. He never specified what it was, but yeah, dude, like, it's a high stress job. There's no like real release from it, especially like in my case, the way I relate to this a little bit is like our art directors from Japan, our composers from the UK. One of our writers is on the West Coast. One of our lead programmers is in Texas. Our lead VFX artist is in Sweden. So all these people, as someone who's at the head of the project and things funnel through me, reach out to me at different times. So what's good for, say, our art director is like 3 a.m. for me sometimes is when I'll be messaging him back about something and then I'll go to bed. Like, there is a sort of demand around the clock that happens with certain teams, especially if you care and you want to make it great, you want to be available. There is a sacrifice that is kind of taken with all of that. And it's hard to take a very measured, healthy approach to get something off the ground. It takes sacrifice from at least one person. You want to ask for it like team wide, although there have been people, at least in my case on our team, who have made a lot of personal sacrifices to make it happen. And like, it's just, again, incredible the lengths we're going to make it happen. But my point being is that when health starts to become a complicated issue as you get older, you start to reflect on what you haven't done. Daniel Vavra has made global video game series, Mafia, Kingdom Come Deliverance. And maybe if Warhorse is deviating a little bit, this is a good time to go make a movie. So then when you come back, AI has progressed. It's time for KCD 3. Let's do something new. Whatever it may be. I could see this being just the right moment for him, the right pocket of time, in my most optimistic of minds. I don't know if this means he'll come back to it, but we have seen moments. This has happened with Todd Howard. He's basically stepped away, but now is focusing entirely on Elder Scrolls 6. He said that's the bulk of his focus. That's the majority of the studio's focus. That's awesome to hear. Meanwhile, you've got something like Neil Druckmann. He went on to do The Last of Us Part 2 and Season 1 as well. And yeah, you know what it resulted in, which I could see this being the case as well, is a message like this. Remember when this came out, at least for me, I'm not like, I got a lot of controversial game dev takes today. I'm not the biggest hater of Neil Druckmann. So Anyway, I mean, you can even see from like the replies here, like Neil Cuckman is stepping down, not from TV, not video games. So yeah, like a lot of people dislike him. I don't despise Neil Druckmann. I just don't like The Last of Us Part 2. But everything else that he's at least been involved in, I've enjoyed. I also don't pay attention to a lot of the outside noise on things he said. I could be uneducated. But anyway, this letter here was interesting because it said, it's from Neil. I've made the difficult decision to step away from my creative involvement in The Last of Us on HBO. With work complete on season 2 and before any meaningful work on season 3, now is the right time for me to transition my complete focus to Naughty Dog and its future projects, including writing and directing our exciting next game, Intergalactic: The Heretic Prophet, along with my responsibilities as studio head and head of creative. Co-creating the show has been the career highlight. It's been an honor to work alongside Craig Mazin to executive produce, direct, write, and in the last 2 seasons, I'm deeply thankful for the thoughtful approach and dedication the talented cast and crew took to adapting The Last of Us Part 1 and the continued adaptation of Last of Us Part 2. So, yeah, like, again, I think this makes a lot of sense for Neil because Last of Us Part 2, I don't think is really great. I don't like the story. I'm that guy, not a fan of the story. And so I just had to feel like it was so funny watching people gas up season 1. I was like, oh, they're all going to come crashing and burning after season 2 because it's going to be the same thing we saw with the games. And it was exactly that. If not, based on what I've seen with some clips, and I'm clip farming a little bit here with just not watching the show. Yeah, it seemed like bad. So I could see a world where like this is kind of not exactly what happens to Vavra, but like he just eventually steps back into his role. Like a lot of people thought Neil was out at Naughty Dog, but eventually he's like, I'm just going to go back to games, right? Like The Last of Us on HBO is kind of a lost cause for him. And he's like, I'm going to go back to video games. So I could see this also being a course of action for Kingdom Come Deliverance director Daniel Vavra. Also, what's interesting and why I think this is a little redundant to make a movie, whatever it may be, is because let's say this is a story involving Henry. The game is already so well shot and portrays itself in its cinematics like a movie. Like it's so perfectly done. The characters look just like their actors and actresses. Like they're mocapped to perfection. So unless they're, I mean, I saw some people on like the Kingdom Come Reddit bringing up how like, well, Tom McKay is a little bit older now. Does this mean he can look like Henry for his younger role in the first KCD? I don't know. That gets into some deeper waters there, but like what story he's going to tell. But at least for me, like I kind of look at it as redundant because Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 is such a video game, but it also in the way it's shot reminds me so much of a movie that I think Daniel Vavra can do a great job with this. Clearly their game shows that with KCD 2. It's so well written, the way like logic works with these characters and kind of the way they operate off of one another. Like I think he can do a good movie. I have no doubt about that. It's just a matter of like, for the fans, what does this accomplish that your games weren't accomplishing? I think it's personal. I think it's a timing thing with Warhorse, and I think it may make more sense when we learn about their next project. But I found it interesting that he was stepping away from game development, and it is in my opinion, significant loss for Warhorse. Even if he is still there and in the building, and I'm sure they'll bounce things off of him, I still find it a little bit saddening that he will not be involved in whatever they're doing next, at the very least. So I'm curious, chat, what you're thinking. How do we feel about Daniel Vavra stepping down? Oh, hold on. We got a North Carolina message here. Matty, seriously consider coming to North Carolina. You'd love it here. Plus some restaurants serve water in mason jars by default. That's right. That's right. You just saw me finish that out. Yeah, dude. I mean, it's on like my wife and I have considered it. We've visited North Carolina twice. Yeah. And the second time when we came home, we're like, we might want to live there. And then this winter hit and I was like, for y'all in North Carolina, you're like, we got hit with a blizzard and it's like 6 inches of snow. I'm like, God, I wish. God, I wish. Dude. Yeah. Like I love it down there though. So I would love to move there. It's just moving is a pain in the ass. We like also just like have so much we want to finish on the house first. And like, I don't know. Living down south is cheaper, but there's the balance of also like family. Like my whole family's here. My wife's whole family is here. And then like, I don't see my friends as often as I used to, it makes me really sad. And it's like, if I move, it's also me giving up on that. And that kind of keeps me up at night. I'm like, do I want to give up on that? Sorry, cutting personal, but like moving isn't like a small deal for me. I have a close friend though Shout out to my boy Adam. He's been in chat before, but my dude's moved like 8 times in the last like 7 years. Like he is a mover. He knows how to do it. If I move again, I'm calling him. Jaco says, shows you got to be built different, built crazy different to game dev long term. Yeah, 100%. I think there's ways that there's ways that you can stretch out the length of it. I think also your ambition is a big part of it. Like, I don't want to get into our ambitions as a team, but like a lot of these game developers start over from the beginning each time. And I think of where we are at a project, if we had to start over just from scratch, how intimidating that feels. That's why we used to get so many games back to back to back, because developers just kind of reused their asset libraries and made more experiences. I find that particularly interesting, I'll just say, of just sort of like building and building. I like content. I like making stories. I don't want to wait for them. And I think there's ways to still do that with the old school way of doing it, at least the way we're building our asset library. We'll see. But I think that kind of ambition is what keeps these games from taking so long, or keeps these games taking so long. And so why I think some developers get burnt out is they're like, dude, it's like, I got to start this all over again. It's gonna be another like 6-7 years. Like, holy shit. Imagine you have so much passion for a game, time is running out, so you decide to make a movie. Exactly why I think they're doing something different at Warhorse. You know, I think you make a great point here. It's like the obvious point I don't mention, right? It's like, yeah, you're so passionate and you have time running out, so you make a movie. But I think, again, I think mortality makes us reflect. Like, that's one of the, if you want to call it beauties of death, it is that self-reflection of like, do I want to do this? Should I do this? Like, for me, a lot of the game development thing, like, I don't do it for the money. I don't do it for anything. It's caused a lot of stress in my life. I do it for legacy. I'm like, what's the impact I want to have on the world when I'm in the dust? And I'm like, I'd like to just have a story that I told with a group of people. We'll see where it goes from there. But like, that mortality makes you reflect, is all I'm saying. Oh no, I said 6-7. Oh God, chat's all over me here. Give me one sec, guys. I'm closing my window. I do miss old Obsidian a little bit, Molder. I think they're in an interesting spot though. Like, I don't know. I'm not an Obsidian doomer. Public opinions you can't have, but I'm not. I'm not there yet. Hey, I'm feeling energetic. We'll throw a 5th story out today. Because why not? We're going to talk about BioShock, because there was some interesting news about the BioShock movie that has now defined what we should expect for when the game comes out. And dude, if you're looking forward to more BioShock, like, I can't believe how long. I mean, it just like, let it go. It's like, once you read all this, I'm like, fucking guys, like, I want BioShock, but God, stop. No wonder they hired Rod Ferguson. We'll talk about that too. Such an interesting time for this franchise. So we'll talk about that, because I want to dive into BioShock. I do. There's nothing quite like it. Although Crystal, I think it's Crystal Theater of Idols does have that BioShocky kind of aesthetic. I want to check that out. Oh my God, someone talking about Joe? Are you fucking kidding me? Yeah, I fucking love Joe, dude. I've seen him in concert a couple times now. Favorite song by him? Potion comes to mind. His new album is so good. Like, it's like almost like a no skip album. Potion comes to mind though. I love Potion. What else is there? There's so fucking many. Gloom is another. On and On is really good. What else do I love from Joe? Yeah, because like what happened was I listened to The Crux, and then like all of his older stuff I went back to, and I was like, damn, he's got like a really unique vibe. Egg is amazing. Fly is really good. Back on You kicks a ton of ass. Lonesome is a State of Mind. Like, he's fucking great, dude. Yeah, I fucking love him. I bought this at the concert. First concert I went to for him. Yeah, he kicks ass, dude. You learned Potion on the guitar? That's sick, dude. Yeah, that's a fucking great acoustic song, man. They a killer sound. Like, just I don't know how he does it. Like he just has, and he does it all by himself for the most part. Like he writes his own music and stuff. He's a incredible musician. It's amazing that he's not only that, but an extremely talented actor as well. Like he's one of the few characters who came out of Stranger Things, from what I've read online, unscathed. Like people still love Joe Keery. And then I saw online there was a rumor that he was going to be Harry Osborn, and I was like, dude, perfect casting. I love it. But yeah, Crux is the shit. That's an amazing album. And his old band, Post Animal, is like my favorite band. I fucking love Post Animal. I like it more than, with all due respect to Joe, I like them more than Joe. Like when we went to see Joe the second time in concert, I went because Post Animal opened for them. They were touring together, and I went there just to see Post Animal. Like I'm like the dude who's like jamming out in the crowd to the opening band, you know, where everyone else is kind of standing there just like listening and nodding their head or just talking to one another. And then when the main act comes out, but like for me, Post Animal is the main act, dude. I almost saw them a third time that last year, but I wasn't feeling well, but they were playing nearby. And so I unfortunately missed them, but like, dude, they are so good. So yeah. Thanks for the writing about this. I love talking some music. Let's see here. Dawn Shard, good to see you. Finally caught you live. Just want to say thanks for all the time you put into keeping us up to date on gaming news. What's your favorite game from 2025? Expedition 33 or Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 come to mind immediately. My top 3 of 2025 were so interesting because it really could have been, Silent Hill F could have been game of the year if like Kingdom Come wasn't so exceptional, sorry. And if Expedition wasn't such an anomaly of an experience, like even like they just kept one-upping each other. But Expedition was my top game of the year. I'm one of those people who's like an Expedition truther. I'm the guy who's annoying about it, who always tells you how great it is. I'm the annoying person who listens to the soundtrack all the time. I'm the dude who bought all the merch. I'm the dude who obsesses over the story. I'm the dude who tells you the gameplay is top tier. I think it's the first time that like Atlas has been one-upped in turn-based combat. Like that game kicks ass. And also Guillaume Broche is a fucking amazing dude. That's the cherry on top. So thank you for supporting. And that's my favorite game of the year, dude. Let's see here. Not Lock Meyer writes, hey, Maddie, you, Game Ranks, and Luke Stevens are my favorite gaming news channels on YouTube. Would you ever be down to chatting with Jake and Luke? I'd love to hear you guys too and share your thoughts on games. Yeah, I'm always down for chatting. Yeah. I talk with Jake a lot though. So like Jake, you can see us talking. Luke less so, but like, yeah, I appreciate you supporting all of us. Thank you for keeping me in some decent company here. But yeah, Jake and I at least like collab and see each other a few times a year. Luke less so. But yeah, I appreciate it, man. Thank you for super chatting. Thank you for supporting. Definitely be a unique trio, that's for sure. Hades 2 took the win for me personally. Put over 100 hours into it and got all the achievements. Expedition 33, KCD2, DS2, all incredible, of course, but for me, it was just that game. Dude, that makes complete sense to me. I get it, dude. Supergiant Games is one of my favorite developers. I'm like ashamed of myself that with all of the Supergiant games I have played, I have not gotten to Hades 2. Like, I never finished that. I never started it. That's just like one that I really need to get on. So, yeah, dude, I feel you on that. Supergiant doesn't miss. They've never made a bad game. Smeep asked me, how are the Witcher novels going? I'm starting the final book. So excited. You're ahead of me. I'm on Time of Contempt. I'm only a little ways into that. I fell behind on reading last week. Like I was afraid of this. Like I knew one of these weeks in my Witcher read through. If I couldn't talk like a fucking toddler. I knew I'd have one of these weeks where like news got crazy and I would just like skip out on reading. My daily quota to hit my goal before April ends was 37 pages a day. I'm behind on I think I did the math. I'm behind 200 pages. So either starting tonight or tomorrow, I have to read like 100 pages a day to like get back ahead, which I can do. I just need to like create that time and like just sit there on the couch for the night. It works out pretty well because we just put up our final Resident Evil retrospective. And so I'm just kind of like cooling it now on gaming until Requiem comes out this Friday. I'm going to fuck around on Fallout 4 on Switch too as well. That's the only other gaming thing I'm doing, but nothing high commitment. I want to kind of breathe because I beat so many games so quickly. I'm like, all right, let's just give it. I beat like 10 games this year already. I've been a fucking monster. I've been an entertainment hound this year. But yeah, I'm going to read Witcher this week a lot and catch back up, and probably, because I know Time of Contempt's like a 300-page book. I'll probably finish it this week and then start book 5. So yeah, it's going well though. I will say I like Last Wish and Sword of Destiny a lot more than Blood of Elves. Blood of Elves has a really great ending, and I love what they do with Ciri as a character. She's becoming one of my favorite characters, straight up. So very excited to get deeper into Time of Contempt. Got a couple of super chats, and then we'll get into the BioShock news. Do you watch any anime? Apparently, Nier Automata writer Yoko Taro is going to be writing the new Evangelion anime. Yes, I'm excited about this because I saw my homie Gene Park put up the quote about Yoko Taro saying that like the better standard of writing was Evangelion, and now he is Evangelion, which I thought was really cool. Yeah, I watch a decent amount of anime. I've been very casual with it though. Like, I only watch the hits. You know, that's kind of where I am right now. Like Free Ren. I'm catching up on My Hero. I'm almost finally done with season 6. I committed to finishing the show, and I refuse to fucking give up at this point because I just want to have it done. I mean, season 6 has been fire. I think, am I on 6 or the heroes versus villains arc is what I'm talking about. That fucking war, dude. Holy shit. That's My Hero at its best, not pulling punches. I'm at the Deku anti-hero arc is what people call it. That's where I'm at right now. And Nagant, if anyone wants specifics. That's where I last left off. But yeah, anime has become like a kind of last option sort of entertainment because I've been watching more movies, listening to more music, playing more games, reading more books. And I spend a lot of time reading manga and watching anime, so I feel pretty fulfilled there, where once that hunger starts to build back up, I'll go ham on it. But right now, I've just been treating it as like treadmill TV, like a couple episodes a day or something like that. Nothing crazy. But yeah, like I totally admit, like I said, you know, oh no, I did it again. Chat hit me with a 6-7 again. I did do it again. Yeah, but anime is something I'm behind on. Like I fully admit I'm casual. Like I'm caught up on the hits like JJK. I'm caught up on, or no, I'm not. They started season 3. But yeah, like I've watched the hits, but it's like Free Ren's definitely like my favorite thing running, but I'm waiting for the season to end and I'm going to binge that for sure. That's the high priority one for me. I've just been burned too many times. Like I was a big defender of like, I discovered Promised Neverland on my own. Like I didn't see any buzz. I just watched it because I thought it looked interesting. Season 1 kicked so much ass, and season 2, I was like, fuck man, this happens a lot in anime. I'm also almost done with Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. That was another one I was watching. Nabber, I have watched AOT. Yeah, we're safe. AOT is safe. Let's see here. We got Killer Sniper Kid. Any tips for starting KCD 2? Oh my God, dude. God, so many. I think the best thing is philosophical. Hang with it. Stick with it. It's going to piss you off. It's going to kick the shit out of you. That is the point. There is a power curve that you will reach. Think of it like Skyrim. You'll eventually get to that God tier status, but it's going to take a while. Also, know that this game doesn't follow industry conventional rules. Like, it lets you break its rule book constantly, and if you're thinking of it like a typical AAA game, you'll get stuck. I got stuck. You'll realize how much in the AAA beast you are, and this game's like a shot of fresh air. You're like, whoa! So just keep those two things in mind, and if you do that and you stay patient with it, you'll love it. Coldplay. What's up, Maddie? What's up, Cole? Will you stream Resident Evil 9 on release? I will not. This is a me game. I appreciate you wanting to maybe watch it, but it's just one of those things where I don't think I'm entertaining when I'm playing games live, unless it's like multiplayer. I like lock in, I stay quiet, I just stare at the screen like a fucking psychopath. That's how I play games. And since I plan on doing like a final verdict video, since I was confirmed I'm not getting a review code for it, I'm just going to play it for myself over the weekend, knock it out in that same weekend because I've just been on a Resident Evil fucking binge. So I'm going to bang it out, make a video on it Monday. And so I don't want to stream that personally, but I appreciate your interest. Thank you for asking. Would it be worth playing through the Leon campaign at RE6 with a friend before RE9 on Friday? I've heard it's bad, but fun with a friend. I think the Leon campaign's fine. Why not? If you're just doing the Leon campaign, go for it. As someone who just did all of RE6 entirely, yeah, you know, it's it's fun at times, but it's also ridiculous at times. And, you know, like, would it be worth it? It's like, do you got time to piss away? If you do, go for it, man. Co-op with a friend. You guys want to do something, chill and call, have a ridiculous story that's basically if Michael Bay directed a Resident Evil game, have at it. But if you're not into that, then you'll be fine, I think. I don't think they're going to touch any narrative threads from that game. I think they're going to actually pick up narrative threads from RE4 Remake involving Ashley. That's my prediction. Let's see here. Maddie, Time of Contempt is excellent. I'm starting Baptism of Fire this week. I look forward to hearing your thoughts as your journey continues. Excellent. Yeah, I'm looking to do... If I finish these books in time with my Witcher replay, I'm going to do like an ultimate Witcher tier list and just rank all the books, the stories, rank all of the games, and just like do a full brain rot list. I think that would be fun for like a Maddie Slop video or like a little slot here on the stream. Like, let's just rank the Witcher games. Oh, okay. Woot boot. Good to see you again, man. Thank you. Thank you. You've super chatted a lot today, man. So I hope you're taking care of yourself. All right. I appreciate it. What's your favorite old school anime? Yu Yu Hakusho is the GOAT anime for me. Old school. Okay. So we're talking like early 2000s. I got what I think might be a hot take. Like Dragon Ball obviously comes to mind. Dragon Ball Z is like, Ghost in the Shell, I have just started watching as well. I forgot to mention that in the question. That captured my brain in some type of fierce way. That would probably, I could see that being, I could see my answer for this changing. But you know where my brain goes? Like, I'm just going to own it. My brain goes to OG Naruto. I know, like, I know it's like the most shonen-ass anime. But like I like Shippuden, but OG Naruto, dude, like is so permanently ingrained in my head. Sasuke was one of my, still to this day is one of my favorite characters ever in entertainment. Just the OG bad boy right next to Vegeta. But just the curse mark, the edginess, the storyline with Haku, the Genin exams, the Chunin exams, just. Oh, dude, like the war on the Hidden Leaf Village. I get such a warm feeling thinking about OG Naruto. And like, dude, the lifestyle, like the believe it. Like, dude, fuck yeah. Like that show was so motivating as a kid. Like, I don't know. It had such a seismic impact on me. I'm like always grateful for OG Naruto. I am obviously the fight versus between Sasuke and Naruto in the valley, dude, like it's so fucking good. It's so good. Kakashi like lifting up the headband, like there's so many moments, dude. I also it hits a particular storytelling gimmick I love. I love when games do things with the eyes. And like with the curse mark and like Orochimaru's eyes, like, yeah, dude, just don't get me started, man. I fucking love OG Naruto. I sincerely think that would be my pick. I do like Dragon Ball more, but like OG Naruto is like when I think old anime or I'm watching old. Oh, wait. Death Note. That is a top 5 entertainment experience. Death Note's my actual answer. I got Naruto. Sorry. One notch below. Death Note. Oh my, dude. Perfect. Down to the finest detail. Light, L, incredible characters, the best soundtrack in an anime I've ever heard. That cat and mouse story, never know where it's going to go. And fuck the haters of season 2, man. That shit's also fire and a perfect finale. God, dude. God, I love Death Note. I don't want to disassemble my collection here, but hang on. Where are you at? Do I have it here? Or is this is my Fallout shelf? Oh, God, this one, you know I have too much fucking shit in my room. Where is it? Oh, I see it. Hang on. You know it's serious when you got the Nendoroids, dude. When you got the Nendoroids, oh my God. Yeah, shout out to Death Note, dude. That OST is like forever ingrained in my body. I listen to it every time I write. Like Death Note storytelling is so intelligent. I love it. Did you ever check out Backlog? Peace and love. No, I've been using my sheet. My sheet's been working well for me. I don't really need to like go on like a whole other website and stuff. This has been kind of working well for me. And it's a system that like I'm just going to keep. So I appreciate it, dude. But thank you. But yeah, backlogs is not like a super high priority thing for me, but I really do appreciate you looking out. Predictions for the Witcher 4 release date. I'm going to go summer 2027. I think this game's ready a touch sooner than we expect because Epic's been up this game's ass. And I also think that CD Projekt Red is like early May is not summer. Sorry. I was thinking like mid-May, like around where the Witcher 4 or Witcher 3 was, like that late. Actually, no, Witcher 3 was late May. That's still not summer. Late spring. That's what I'm thinking. I think it's going to be around that time period. If not, though, I could also see it being a holiday title for 2027. But I'm giving you an optimistic guess. First half of the second year. Jesus Christ. Clearly, I'm fried. First half of 2027. Chad, answer, bro. Naruto is top tier. Went to a Naruto live event with soundtrack performed by orchestra in the last year or so. It's literally my number 2. Okay. That's sick, dude. I didn't know they did that. I love that. Fuck yeah. Dude. Fuck yeah. That's awesome. I love that the chat loves Naruto, dude. I'm a huge supporter of OG Naruto. And Shippuden's good too. Shippuden's where it got a little like, okay, we need to wrap it up, you know. And it ends, and then I could not tell you a fucking thing about Boruto. Someone can write in chat and tell me it's good. I've never seen it. People are mentioning Hunter x Hunter. I'm not a big Hunter x Hunter fan like others. Like I enjoy parts of it, like the York New arc, because I'm a big Kurapika fan. I have a statue of Kurapika behind my lights and everything. I can't reach. Can I reach it? Hold on. I can reach it. Yeah. Fuck yeah. Dude. Kurapika's my dude. I love him. So yeah, that he defined why I love that arc. And then Chimera Ant arc, of course, but there's parts in between, like the storytelling. It's just like the video game part of the story is like, I think kind of, I don't know. I thought it was so unnecessary. The tournament arc I found was solid, where they were learning about how to, what do they call energy in Hunter x Hunter? I forgot what it's called. Not like chi or whatever, but there's something that the latent potential within you that they talk about that you have to release when you fight. Anyway, there's pockets of Hunter x Hunter I like. The ending is, I always forget, by the way, my friend reminded me the other week, there's another arc after Chimera Ant arc. And I'm like, oh shit, right. Like, I forgot about that. That arc is also kind of mid. So, yeah. I use Kurapika a ton in Jump Force. Nen. Thank you, chat. Nen. That's what it was. Love the Dishonored franchise. Need Dishonored 3 while waiting for it. Any recommendations on a good stealth game? Dude, basically anything in the immersive sim genre should do the trick. Deus Ex is a good... If you've not played Deus Ex like Human Revolution or anything like that, that would be one that comes to mind. I've not played the original Deus Ex, so I'm not sure about that. Prey is another one. I love Prey. That's very much in that line. So any older Arcane games... I've heard some good things about Styx. I know it's not exactly like immersive sim style, but there is that. I feel like I'm forgetting some right now off the top of my head. Indiana Jones and the Great Circle isn't necessarily full immersive sim, but it's got some elements of like environmental interactivity where it feels very Dishonored-like. It might scratch that itch for you. What about Cowboy Bebop, Inuyasha, and Bleach? Okay, so I'm going to be very transparent. Bleach, I've seen a little bit of, really liked what I did see of it. The game for it's fire, by the way. The one that just came out, was it last year? Yeah. Cowboy Bebop. Sorry, I haven't seen it. I know. I have no excuse for this. I've heard I'd love it. So it was either that I started or Ghost in the Shell. My art director is like a huge Ghost in the Shell fan, so I wanted to look at that first. But Cowboy Bebop is on the list, don't worry. And then Inuyasha, I watched a decent amount of, and I liked it, but I fell off of it. They're all good, though. They're all good. Let me get this next story going here, guys, because like I said, I did want to slam out this fifth one, because why the fuck not? I've read all of Hell's Paradise, by the way, Guildy. I thought it was pretty good. It's got a fucking ass story, but it was fun. It was a fun read. All right, loving this anime chat, dude. I remember, so real quick before I get into the story, I remember when I started to talk about like Japanese stuff on the channel, because like I love like anime. I particularly, what I basically did was I traded in my anime card for like obscure anime video games. Like I have on my Switch here this game called Paranormasight. It got announced, the sequel got announced during the direct, but I realized like I spend more of my time in like the very weeby games. And I wouldn't call Paranormal Sight that at all, but it's like some people define weeby games as just like deep cut Japanese games. So pardon me for generalizing. But I've just noticed I've spent a lot of time more in the game department for Japanese stuff than anime, like that time commitment there. But there's just so much. It's just so much to keep up with. Anyway, that ramble aside, let's get into the news here. I got one more story for you guys, then we can hang out and chat for a little bit, and then we'll close up shop. I want to talk with you all about BioShock. Yeah, remember that one? BioShock's been gone for a long while. And I think it makes sense. Ken Levine is working on Judas. That's going to be the successor to BioShock. Do we really need more BioShock? But BioShock also sold a lot, and there's a lot of BioShock fans. So what's the natural thing to do here? Try to continue the series without its brightest mind, and then also make a movie. Not only just a movie for BioShock, but a film adaptation. This was originally announced by Netflix back in February of 2022 here. They say, published by 2K, a subsidiary of Take-Two Interactive, the award-winning and critically acclaimed BioShock game franchise includes BioShock 1, 2, and Infinite, and it's talking all about the series here. Netflix is partnering with 2K and Take-Two Interactive to produce a live-action film adaptation of the renowned video game franchise BioShock. Already an awful idea, not because I am a movie doomer, might I add. The reason I feel this way is because BioShock is very specifically a video game story. Without spoiling it for anybody, the idea behind a certain phrase in the game and how it interacts with the player taking action, it does not work in this submissive role where you're sitting in your theater chair watching it unfold, watching this happen to someone else. You cannot translate that story into film for that exact reason. Ken Levine was very deliberate in how he crafted his tale here, and it's for video games. I say that again because it's not a live action movie. It is a film adaptation of BioShock. So, again, we see here, we're pushing for adaptation. What exactly does that mean here? Well, there's been some updates. Let's go back to September 2025. The headline from IGN is BioShock movie is definitely based on the first game as script work continues following Netflix's budget cut. So yeah, you may have noticed with the original reference there, 2022 was a while ago. Things may have changed. No, they're still working around the idea of this being around the first game here. This is the exact quote. Netflix wants us to keep everything under wraps, Lee told the Direct, but it's definitely going to be based on the first game. Lee went to say that Lawrence had the BioShock movie lined up as his next project after the Hunger Games, Sunrise on the Reaping, which is set to go into production soon ahead of its November 2026 release date. BioShock was delayed for a little bit where we had to do some more script work, Lee said. And so as the script work is being done, we shot the Stephen King dystopian survival horror Long Walk, and he was already committed to doing Hunger Games as the next movie. And so it's just waiting for him whenever the Hunger Games is completed, and the script is being worked on right now. He's also said previously that it's a tricky adaptation, so there's a lot of things to figure out and get right. There's regime changes at Netflix, and so things stall out and get re-energized and stall out and get re-energized, and I think we're in a pretty good place, honestly. So there's optimism in spite of it all. And again, it's been on the shelf for a while. Like it feels like there's no urgency. Like, yeah, we're going to wait for him, and then we'll get started. And I get it, but like when you greenlight something back in 2022, like, hey, we're partnering to produce this, why announce this if it's going to take you until 2025 to be like, all right, we're waiting for him to be done with these movies and then we'll get started here. So that's some of the tea that sets it up here. Why this BioShock movie news matters to you, the gamer, is because of this next IGN headline here. GTA publisher Take-Two wants to align BioShock movie launch with next game. Talking with Collider, BioShock movie producer, again, Roy Lee, confirmed that while the project's director, Francis Lawrence, is tied up in post-production on Hunger Games prequel, Sunrise on the Reaping, the adaptation of 2K's blockbuster BioShock remains next on the docket. So, again, based on what we learned here from this prior article, this is remaining true heading into 2026, which you never know. When these things are shelved for a while, things change so often. He says, we would have made it a few years back, but then other movies got in the way, with the big one being Long Walk and the other being Hunger Games prequel, which comes out this December, before hinting that the film's eventual release may prove to be part of a wider BioShock push. Okay, you've got my attention now. Let's see what this means. We're just waiting for Lawrence to finish post-production because he's going to be working it through at least September and then jump back into it. I know Netflix and Take-Two are very anxious to see the movie come out because they want to have the release coincide with some of the potential new incarnations of the game. There's a couple of ways we can take that one there. I'm excited to get into that. When pressed for timescales, Lee cautiously said, "It's steadily on the path, but you know how it goes. It's so many big things can get into the way, but I know the intent is to hopefully get into production next year." Okay. So we're still a ways off before this even starts. So if you kind of want to strip any sort of fact out of this based on his words there, what that tells me is, okay, if you're trying to get production started next year and Take-Two and Netflix want to align for a game movie launch of some kind, right? Because they probably saw, hey, look what Cyberpunk Edge Runners did as a good example. When I look at all of that and I see here, you're starting production next year, I'm like, dude, is the next BioShock game not arriving for another like 3-4 years? Like, is that what we're looking at here? That's absurd. And obviously for those who have not been tracking, the BioShock series is in some trouble. Again, why we're pressing on without Ken Levine is, I think, forcing the issue. Like, for all this work, I'm just praying it's worth it because I love BioShock. But without Ken, I'm skeptical, which is why my attention and my support is over with Judas for the time being. You can be a fan of both, which I hope to be, but I could also see a world where this goes south. But anyway, back to Lee's quote here. He says, potential new incarnations of the game. And this was in reference to the first one here. So my first thought goes to, are they trying to coincide with BioShock 4? Which seems to be a little bit further down the line here. Okay, well, let's get into that. This is from gamesindustry.biz. Cloud Chamber lays off unspecified number of staff as Rod Ferguson is parachuted in to lead troubled BioShock 4 production. There's an update here that we'll get into. But first, let's start off with the original story. BioShock 4 developer Cloud Chamber has reportedly appointed former Diablo boss Rod Ferguson as studio head and laid off an unspecified number of staff. Firaxis veterans Kelly Gilmore departed earlier this month after Take-Two Interactive reportedly overhauled parts of the upcoming BioShock game and reshuffled its leadership team following a failed internal review by publisher 2K Games. At the time, people familiar with the situation claimed the next entry in the BioShock series recently failed a review by executives at 2K Games with the game's narrative highlighted as needing improvement, which is at least a good thing to note there, that they understand what makes BioShock tick. I mean, the gameplay for Infinite I thought was fun. I see a lot of people complain about it, but I thought it was fun. But yeah, it's good to see here that they understand like the narrative is why it has such resonance over the generations. Like BioShock 1 is a generational story, and I think Infinite with its DLC is as well. Now, Bloomberg's Jason Schreier reports layoffs at BioShock 4 developer as Rod Ferguson takes over Cloud Chamber Gaming. Now, Ferguson had departed from Blizzard on August 8th, and we'll see here that he posted on social media, "Would you kindly allow me to share some news? Some of you guessed it, I'm returning to 2K to lead the series. That means a lot to me as the new head of the BioShock franchise." So that right there also said a lot. Head of the BioShock franchise. I'm like, okay, so that means to me like, there's more than just BioShock 4. More on that in a little bit. I'll be heading up Cloud Chamber and overseeing development of the next BioShock game alongside franchise extensions like the in-development Netflix movie. There you go. The tweet explained it for you, Maddie. Didn't really need to tease it. While I'm excited to get started in the coming weeks, I recognize the studio restructuring is a difficult time for the team. Deeply grateful for the work they've done so far, and I'm committed to building a BioShock game we'll be proud of and that our players will love. For now, the fire hose of onboarding awaits, and I look forward to sharing more when I can. Why is optimism crawling in when Rod Ferguson shows up? He is called the finisher in the industry. I know, crazy name, but like he is known for coming in and getting the job done. Like, for example, Diablo, Gears of War. Like he built his name on shipping games. Something that, as we know with our industry and the time games take, a lot of teams struggle with this. Like it's always something. And Rod Ferguson has built a career on being that guy who just finds a way through, whether it's his process or pure brute force or making decisive calls, whatever it may be. This is what Rod's known for. So bringing him in for BioShock means you probably will get a BioShock game. And that's a pretty good reputation to have. It's like, okay, I can trust that. Also, why am I not following this man? There we go. Fix that. All right. So are 2K and Netflix trying to align a BioShock 4 with a movie? I think not, given that they're restructuring and there's a new head of the franchise and it seems like it's early days again. I imagine this has to do more so with a rumored BioShock remaster here. So let's start off here with Games Radar, where they say rumored BioShock remaster might be in testing at 2K. This was in 2021. And keep in mind that there was also as mentioned here, the recent BioShock ray tracing remaster from the NVIDIA leak. For those who don't know, NVIDIA had a major database leak where a ton of games, like this is how we learned about Final Fantasy IX Remake, for example, which still remains in the rumor mill. But every game that was announced from the NVIDIA game leak just proved that this whole library of leaks was accurate. So we knew something was kind of cooking on the home front when it came to a BioShock remaster. They write here that users on Reddit noticed the SteamDB database entries for BioShock 1, 2, and Infinite had all been recently updated. Simply put, this means some sort of internal development for the Steam builds of all three games is currently going on at the publisher 2K, although it's impossible to say for sure what's going on. So that was as early as 2021 here. But then, in wave of all the changes we made here, we learned about another project that was in development at 2K. And this one, I think, was a little bit more of a eyebrow raiser. The report, again here from Games Radar, says that a remake of the original BioShock was in development at 2K, but was shelved earlier this year. We've reached out to 2K for additional comment. And so that is 2025. It was shelved. So it's possible that they put it on the shelf until the movie was going to progress a little bit, and maybe it'll come back online if the movie's starting production next year. Then they're like, okay, why the fuck are we working on this? Like BioShock just being dropped as a remake, whatever. But if we pick this up later, when the movie's about to come out, and drop them at the same time, the game and the movie might do better, because Take-Two has no doubt noticed what like CD Projekt Red knows and what Bethesda knows, that, hey, like we're going to make a lot more money if we make a really good game alongside, or an update alongside, this movie that is also hopefully good. So basically the TLDR from my point of view is simply this: like, if you're looking at BioShock and hoping for a new game anytime soon, I think you're getting Judas first, which is crazy to say, right? We're all wondering, Ken, when's the release date for Judas? But I think that's what's happening here. I don't think you're getting a new BioShock game for a long while. And whenever you see the movie, it's not even like that's to hold you off. You're getting it with the game potentially. That's the goal. So, yeah, I mean, I personally have lost interest in a major way, because I know Ken's not involved, and Ken's working on something that looks really great that also reminds me of BioShock. So, and System Shock 2 in a lot of ways as well, might I add. So I look at this and I go, okay, like whatever. They can just take their time. But for BioShock hardcore fans out there, I am one. But again, no Ken means like no real dice for me until I see the game. It's going to be a while yet, as Todd would say about Elder Scrolls 6. We're in that waiting phase for BioShock, even longer than I think we anticipated. So I thought this was an interesting update on the future of BioShock, and it shows that, man, we're going to need patience for a lot of our favorite things to come back. It's a shame, but that's what it is. All right, Chad, that was our final story of the day. Holy shit, I'm kind of fried now. I pushed it. Biocock? Fuck yeah, why not? I'm out of water too. Damn. Anyway, yeah, like a really weird time for BioShock. Again, like I don't know why they're forcing the point. I feel like you could just kind of leave it. It's fine. But if it turns out great, then that's cool too. I mean, certainly that's what I'm hoping for. But like the movie being shelved for this long, it's like, why were our plans not this ambitious? You know? Maddie the sleeper. Yeah, I'm not going to be Maddie the finisher. I'm going to be Maddie the reader and napper. That's what I'm going to be. Get out the juice. Yeah, 3-hour stream almost, man. Like, yeah, I've been pushing it a little bit here for sure. But I felt comfortable doing it because, like I said, I was like shoveling snow all day. So it was kind of good just to like sit on my ass and be like, all right, well, I'm not doing anything else for the rest of the day. No, I did not see the new Jez article. Oh, God, that's what we need. A 6th story for today. What did Jez post? I'll check Reddit, Gaming Leaks and Rumors. They usually grab his shit immediately. Reddit, Gaming Leaks and Rumors. Let's see what we got here. Is there anything from Jez here? I'm not seeing anything immediately. I did see Jez posted like a goodbye kind of thing for Phil. That was about it, though. Oh, interesting. Reddit Gaming Leaks and Rumor posted that Akira Yamaoka isn't scoring Silent Hill Townfall. It sounded very Akira Yamaoka-esque when the game was revealed with gameplay at the State of Play, so I'm very surprised by that. I'm going to check Jez's Twitter. I want to see if I Oh, here we go. Exclusive. We interviewed new Xbox CEO. I said interview. Oh, I'm so tired. Okay, I called for an interview. Oh, man. All right. Let's see what we got here. This is probably a Mr. Matty video, honestly. Is there anything interesting here? Okay, let's read it together. I have not read the BioShock novel. No, I didn't even know there was a BioShock book. It's the lead singer of Nickelback, your dad. I've heard that one before, Bad Dreams. I appreciate it. I'm going to take it as a compliment. All right, let's see what this interview's got here. Spencer, okay, this is like a kind of preface here. Sharma's task will be figuring out a guide at Xbox. I briefly caught up with the new CEO and newly promoted content chief officer, Matt Booty. Okay. She said she wants to bring back the return to Xbox. I'm not doing a video right now. We're just going to read it together. We're just going to see what's going on. Jess said, keep streaming, buddy. Yeah, Jess said, don't hit that end stream button yet. She wants to bring back the return to Xbox. I asked exactly what it means since it effectively implies that Xbox has begun to stray from what Xbox is. Sharma volunteered an emphasis on Xbox's core and specifically its beleaguered console platform, which has seen a few fiscals of near constant decline. For me, the spirit of return to Xbox is about returning the spirit that the team was founded on. It's the spirit of surprise. It's the spirit of building something nobody else was willing to try. I've heard Renegade, Rebellion, and Fun used. That's what I was thinking about when I wrote that. Okay. She's media trained. That's really nothing. Sharma acknowledged the investment of fans and customers have poured into the ecosystem and seemed okay. Commitment to console hardware. I think that a core Xbox fans and players have invested up to 25 years in themselves, in these universes, in our console. I want to make sure everybody knows I'm committed to Xbox, starting with the console. We're going to keep meeting players where they are. Okay, multi-platform continues on. The world continues to evolve and change. We're going to make sure Xbox is a great place for developers and players. We want to invest in reducing... It's so hard to read this without thinking of Phil's voice. Reducing the artificial divide between types of devices. I think that means a lot more investment in breaking down the barriers and helping developers build ones. And okay, so yeah, no exclusivity. That's what I want to signal with the return to Xbox. Yeah, these fucking fanboys on Twitter, bro, the way they fucking harass the shit out of me after this, me like, yeah, I don't think exclusivity is coming back. They're like, of course, you fucking hater, you Doom merchant, bro. Fuck these guys, man. It's so fucking annoying. You read this and you're like, oh, so it's staying the same. Right, got it. It's just a fucking rallying cry. There's been a ton of speculation about what kind of moves Asha might make. Xbox notoriously ditched any form of exclusivity on its games, shifting units to PlayStation, paying little mind to criticism that reduced its need to actually buy an Xbox. Sharma told me that nothing is off the table when it comes to revising Xbox strategy, but finalizing the strategy will take time and data parsing. Sharma said the plan's the plan until it's not the plan. Oh my God, these fucking non-committal answers, dude. This kills my soul. Right now, I need to learn candidly about the why of these decisions, what we are optimizing for, what the data says about the Xbox strategy today. That's the honest answer. I'm looking at the lifetime value, not just what happened in a previous moment. Okay, so she's just like straight up like, I'm new here and I'm figuring it out. Sharma described her and Matt Booty are currently going on a whirlwind learning tour of all Xbox gaming teams. Okay, so we're going to see basically what Phil Spencer did. She's going to tour all of them. Matt Booty cautioned that players shouldn't expect drastic changes in the near term, though, while emphasizing that Xbox plans to re-examine and question everything. Xbox players have thousands of dollars invested in money and time, too. It's incredibly important for me to understand that and protect that, Sharma said. I am committed to returning to Xbox, and that starts with the console. That starts with hardware. You'll hear more about that soon. We will have announcements coming up. You'll see us collectively investing here. We also know that there are a lot of players who aren't on console or hardware, and I want to deliver great games to them too. Oh, man, what a fucking surprise, dude. I'm sorry. I'm having my victory lap because, again, I fucking read my Twitter mentions. I was like, dude, these people are so goddamn toxic. I need to learn more about what it can look like, what decisions were made, what we need to do going forward, and I want a little bit of time and space to do that. Hey, guys, give me some fucking room, would you? Matt Booty chimed in, protecting the Xbox ecosystem, and rejected speculation of Microsoft gunning for its gaming vision to devolve into a publisher. If only this company did not have a habit of lying to you so often. I'm sorry, I know I'm like hitting this with hardcore skepticism, but like I just think again, there's like they got to show, not tell. Our studio system is fully built around being first party. We're not just built to be a publisher. It is core to our partnership with the Microsoft platform. being involved in early hardware decisions, all the work we've done to get games like Gears of War running great on new devices like the Xbox Ally and so on. It is embedded within our structure. We're not backing away from that. We're committed to being a first-party publisher in partnership with our first-party platform team. Okay. Sounds like AI in her interview. Yeah, I'm sorry. I hate to be like that guy. Oh, Jacob, I'm sorry. I missed your super chat. Thank you for saying I can do it. I'm doing my best here. Yeah, we're casually reading this over, and as I unpack my thoughts more, I think I have thoughts on making a video on this just to be like, God, look how little they say and attempt to the plan's the plan until it's not the plan. Like, what? Are you fucking serious? Thank you for a hardcore commitment. I mean, clearly it's like this reads so much like a hustled sort of transition just because they're like, we don't even know the plan yet. We're going to revise the plan. So basically they're saying that anything Sarah and Phil did is subject to change. And they're just trying to, what they're trying to do is like, they always say in like media, like you should never tell the person no. You should never include the answers no or never when you announce something, because it creates a negative connotation. But I think in this case, it would do a whole lot more. Okay. One of the big issues facing the games industry right now is finding new users. Xbox is facing... Okay. I asked Asha Sharma if she plans to explore new paradigms. I'm waiting for the big AI question, Jez. I know you got it in you. She once again signaled an intent to double down on Xbox's core. The thing about other products that are taking off that have built really great communities with their audiences, we're stewards of a lot of communities, and we have been for decades. The thing that makes a community is that you build a lot for that core. What I don't want to have to do is have any creator at Xbox dilute their focus to chase an emerging community. If we want to invest in a new community, we'll have to look at how to do that, but it's really important that people stay true to their core when they're building. The things I've learned when building platforms over my career, there's kind of two things that really make a great platform. It's the quality of the product you deliver for the core user and the integrity of the decisions that stand behind it. There's a big community at Xbox, and we'll look at the right way to serve that community. Okay, here we go. A lot of discourse around Asha's appointment revolves around her tenure in Microsoft's core AI org, whose mission is to integrate AI features into Azure's tools. I asked Asha Sharma how she felt about artificial intelligence in the discourse regarding that. I think with any new technology, it brings possibilities as a tool, but even more importantly, especially now, we need to draw lines on what we won't do. That's what I attempted to do when I shared my opening letter. I will not flood our system with slop. We will not have careless output. We won't have derivative work. I believe deeply in the words that I shared previously there. Chad, did we believe that? I mean, I don't know, man. When you're like, I think any technology, it's a tool. But when you're saying the tool can solve fucking birth rates, I mean, what am I supposed to think? Like, I don't think to you it's a tool. You say it's a solution to 100-year-long problems. That's not just a tool. That's a fucking lifesaver, dude. Matt Booty put what am I doing here? Whoa. Okay. Matt Booty put to bed rumors that Microsoft is planning to enforce some kind of AI directive. We've got no pressure from Microsoft. There are no directives on AI coming down. Our teams are free to use any technology that might be beneficial, whether it's helping write code or check for bugs. There's more in the production pipeline. At the end of the day, as Asha said, we're committed to art made by people. Okay, that's a good quote. That's a good one. That is a good one. Oh my God, why am I fucking crashing out here? Sorry, I tried to look at the article from the top and then highlight it so it's easier to follow along because I know my camera's in the bottom right corner. But I'm going crazy here now. I'm flying to the top of the article. Just as a group, game developers are always eager to adopt new technology. When Photoshop showed up, it took about 1 month for it to appear in every game studio on the planet because it was so useful. God, that's not comparable at all, dude. I hate to say it. I'm not even a fucking know-it-all. It's just not comparable. Matt noted that Xbox's goal is for AI to be additive and supportive rather than disruptive. What I hear throughout our studios is it is the people, our artists, our coders, the writers, they're doing the creative work. In my experience, anytime there's a new technology, what happens is there's a need for more specialists, new specialists. It raises the bar on what expectations are for the quality of the games. It just feels like we have this definition. Like, we decided, like, this is how technology has historically worked, and because this is new tech here, this has to work the same way. It cannot work in any other way, and I just don't get the one-size-fits-all treatment here. We got no pressure from Microsoft. Okay, that's the quote I just read. Committed to art. On the topic of art, I was curious if there were plans to diverge Xbox away from more eclectic publishing style and double down on chasing blockbusters. Some of Xbox's biggest games like Overwatch and Fallout 76 have seen a huge resurgence. Jez with the 76, brother. Come on. I'm kidding. I love Jez. Other titles like World of Warcraft, Diablo, or as Jez would say, Diablo, and Call of Duty. Continue to see impressive engagement, but there'll still be room for smaller, more intrepid titles. Matt Booty says that type of creativity remains core. Of course, they're not going to say no to that. I'm sorry. I'm being negative now. Like, this could be true. I'm being negative now. This is why reacting to news live at times when I haven't prepared anything, I'm just like, I need to parse through the first layer of my brain, right? The first layer of my brain literally reads this and goes, what are you going to say? Yeah, we're actually going to fucking, like, fuck Ninja Theory, fuck Compulsion, fuck Double Fine. Like, we don't really give a shit. We want Call of Duty. We want Fallout. Like, anyway, he says the first conversation Asha and I had when we met to do all of this, to her credit, she immediately emphasized supporting our studios and our games. Our ecosystem is built to be a portfolio of everything from small games to ongoing franchises to the big blockbusters. We're built at the core to build everything from Kiln to Call of Duty, everything from Minecraft to South of Midnight. That's core to how we set up. Matt Booty said that Xbox thinks of itself as a federation of studios supporting each other creatively and technologically. This might get into what I've said about Ninja Theory a lot. That a lot of people are like, oh, Ninja Theory's got to go. Like, they didn't sell a lot with Hellblade. They took forever to make it. But Ninja Theory has, like, a lot of Xbox's studios are in the UK, and they have, like, a full motion capture studio there. They are, like, wizards with Unreal Engine 5. So there is a level, like, no game I don't think Hellblade 2 is a great game, but no game looks like Hellblade 2. And certainly those learnings can help other Unreal Engine focused teams at Xbox. So that built-in knowledge, I think, could go somewhere. But then again, you saw PlayStation flush built-in knowledge down the toilet with fucking Blue Point. So who knows? This will no doubt be a video tomorrow, I think. Because I got thoughts, clearly. And I gotta unpack it some more. I think we've got one of the best portfolios out there, even in the entertainment industry more broadly in the terms of the range. We're dedicated to it. And here's why. I believe that almost everything big started as something small. You can't lose the ability to have those places where little sparks can grow into something big. The creative environment that lets us take bets and creative risks has to be part of Xbox's culture. Good. I like that. Good. The best thing about my job is I get to sit in on meetings when they're early ideas. You can imagine what it's like sitting in a room and someone says, we're going to make a game about a walking lighthouse. And then I go from that to review the next 3 years of Call of Duty. It's been great to hear Asha state her commitment to that as well. Okay, cool. I can trust that to some extent. You know, I feel like that makes sense, but I don't know if it's going to come internally, like our first party studios, or if they're going to do like Xbox Game Studios publishing and do what they kind of did with something like Ninja Gaiden 4 and enable it that way. All right, we're near the end of the article here. Building the next 25 years of Xbox. I didn't get a chance to ask everything I wanted to ask. There are so many questions about Xbox's future and its strategy, so many levers that could potentially shift and so many angles that could potentially warp. I wanted to ask more about Xbox Game Pass, the future of its ecosystem, what role cloud gaming stands to play. Yep. But those questions will have to wait for another time. I wonder if this was a written or a call. I don't know if this was like a written or a voice interview. Lubricant, you say I'm live every time you open YouTube. Good, man. I'm glad to have you here, dude. You've been a long-time supporter, so it's good to see you, bro. In closing, I asked Asha Sharma what she would say to Xbox fans who have been worries and concerns about the changes as we bid farewell to Phil Spencer. Here we go. Here comes a nice blanket PR statement. Phil Spencer is a remarkable human and leader, and I think when he took over Xbox in 2014, he changed the culture of Xbox to focus on player-driven and creator-driven decisions. I intend to honor and uphold that. Asha didn't shy away from the challenge of Xbox is facing, both internally and externally, but volunteered the idea of strengthening Xbox not just for the near term, but another quarter century. In her words, Sharma said her current goal is proof over promise. We know that the business has gone through some challenges. I'm going to use my expertise and the leaders that have the gaming depth around the table to help us grow the business and make sure that we have an incredible next 25 years. I will listen, I will learn, I will communicate what we're seeing and what we're doing. I think from here, the work is proof over promise. Matt and I are in it every hour of every day of every night. I'm fully in this thing. The team has brought it back before, and I'm here to help us do it again. Okay. Yeah, that'll be a video tomorrow. I got a lot of thoughts on that. My initial take is a lot of like AI stuff seems incomplete. Again, contradiction to what she says, to what Satya says, and I just can't buy into that. I believe Matt Booty to some extent on supporting smaller games, but I don't know if it'll always come internally. Disappointed there was no answer on Game Pass because she talked about business models, and I think I would have asked that versus what did Jez's question? He said, massaging the worries. It's like they've already tried to do that. With all due respect to Jez, I think it was a wasted opportunity. Like I would have just gone for Game Pass and just seen what we could extrapolate from that. This week's Defining Duke will be interesting. We're bringing Brad the Grim Reaper on. Of course, Cog will be there. I'll be there. So we'll have a nice chat about the future of Xbox. This whole subject is our only topic for the show. I'm not doing anything else for it. It's just like, let's just sit down, talk about what games we're playing, and then get into what Xbox is going to be up to for the next however long. Seems like they're committing to longevity. Next 25 years of Xbox. I don't know. I don't think, like I said, I don't think Xbox is going anywhere, but I do think they're going to completely redefine who they are. It's just we're too smart to take it at face value, and I think there's too many bits of smoke for me to ignore that it might be fire. Anyway, good interview. At least got something there, but it just gives us more talking points than actual, I think, concrete answers. But I do like the whole idea of promise over, what's it called? Like words, basically, or I'm sorry, proof over promise. Like show it instead of tell it, basically. That sounds cool to me. I could get down with that. I can get down with an Xbox that does that. So yeah, man, what a stream. What a stream, guys. Hey, thanks for hanging out. Thanks for chatting with me. Thanks for over 1,000 plus of you who've been here the whole time. Very honored by that, dude. Like, that's cool as fuck. Like, that we've had that kind of audience this whole time. That's really awesome, especially because we're only on one platform. Sorry, I sound like Xbox. Holy shit. But we're not even, like, streaming to Twitch or anything. That's really cool. But thank you for your super chats. Thank you for just being chill, hanging out, going through all the gaming news with me. Thank you to the mods for holding it down. As always, whether, Josh, Uncharted Wolf, appreciate you guys hanging out. I know this is a longer stream. But yeah, the slop army is definitely growing. I like that, Akimbo. It definitely is growing, man. I'm going to go chill. I'm going to go get some dinner. And what do I got on my schedule? I got to do the Defining Duke script. Otherwise, though, I'm going to eat Defining Duke script, play some Fallout 4 on Switch. Maybe you'll see us. I don't know. We recorded like 5 news stories, but yeah, I don't know. We got a lot of slop content on the way, but you'll see something about my thoughts on Fallout 4 on Switch. Anyway, guys, thanks for hanging out. Have a great rest of your evening or day, whatever time of day it is for you. Thanks for hanging, and we'll talk soon. We'll be live next Friday. So we'll see if it's a slow news week then. No doubt something will probably drop.